complete college basketball's greatest rebound and rebuild with a championship.
If you're going to war and I'm coaching, I'm taking these guys.
Baylor, kings of college basketball, #1 in the land, and the trophy is coming to Waco.
Baylor, one of the great turnarounds in college athletics history, national champions in year 18 for Scott Drew.
Our fans that have been with us for the lean years, the good years, and our administration, President Livingstone, Mac Rhodes, they all deserve this. The city of Waco deserves this. Hey, Texas, we got a national championship too. The state deserves it.
Did I stutter?
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Monday, everybody. After a big weekend in Baylor sports, the Baylor men's basketball team, national champions this season. They took it all in Indianapolis. That's the biggest sports story of this spring. Don't let what has happened over the weekend fool you. I'm Drake Toll. That's Armstrong Sims. I'll tell you this right now. I can touch myself. I'm in Waco. Armstrong can touch himself. He's in Waco. Andrew Robertson can touch himself. He's in Waco. J.D. Pickell, Jack McKenzie, everybody else. We're all in Waco. But the question remains, how many women's basketball players will stay in Waco? We can say that we're here right now, but the question now becomes, with Kim Mulkey departing from Baylor to go to LSU, how many of her players stay at Baylor University? And I can tell you this right now. It won't be all of them. Again, Drake Toll alongside Armstrong Sims, 254-339-1122. Call us or text us with your thoughts. Kim Mulkey, no longer the head women's basketball coach at Baylor University. Mac Rhodes and company, the search is on for the next head women's basketball coach. Guys, there are three numbers that currently sit on the Farrell Center floor. Those three numbers are national championship victories that Kim Mulkey took home and the 3 years that she did so at Baylor University. And now today, for the first time in 21 years, Baylor does not have a women's basketball coach, as she has made the decision to go from Waco to Baton Rouge, from Texas to Louisiana, and depart from the women's basketball program here at Baylor. Again, the phone line is open at 254-339-1122. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitter, you don't have to do that to yourself. Go to YouTube, put it up on your Roku, put it on your TV today. You can watch Up Tempo. Tell your Alexa that you want to listen to SicEm365 Radio, and you can listen to the show as well. I want to give my thoughts to open the show today. It was a very big weekend. We got a lot of callers coming in right now. It was a very big weekend in Baylor sports, and I do not specifically want what happened with Kim Mulkey this weekend to take away from the fact that Baylor baseball got a series victory at Texas Tech. The first time the number 5 team in the country, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, have lost a home series since 2018. I don't want to get away from that. That is huge, and Baylor baseball, you deserve the spotlight. I don't want to get away from the fact that acrobatics and tumbling won a national championship last Friday. We can't get away from that either. It's a national championship that should be celebrated and not overshadowed by what has happened here. I also can't get away from softball. Got a series victory at a former top 25 team in Iowa State on the road in Ames this weekend, and the Baylor men's tennis team plays today for the Big 12 championship. The Baylor women's tennis team played yesterday for the Big 12 championship. Do not let this news overshadow the success of the Baylor athletics program, what has been built across the board at Baylor athletics, and this news today should not take away from any of that. It should not take away from any of that. All of those things have been noted. And we will talk to athletes from both acrobatics and tumbling and baseball today. I want to give you this, though. Before we get into these callers, before we get into the texts, for those of you that are complaining about Mack Rhoades or Baylor University, I can tell you this right now, and this is not me being a homer. This is not me sitting here and telling you this is all Kim Mulkey's fault, because I do not believe that it is. But this was Kim Mulkey's decision, wholly Kim Mulkey's decision, to leave Baylor and go to LSU. This is not something that Mack Rhoades says, hey, you've got one foot out the door, well, let's go put the other one out there. It's not. Mack would have done a whole lot of things, and still would do a whole lot of things, him and Dr. Livingstone both, to keep Kim Mulkey in Waco. However, at the end of the day, this was Kim Mulkey's decision to go from Waco to Baton Rouge, from Baylor to LSU. And I'll tell you this, too. Kim Mulkey, and you know that this is the truth. Kim Mulkey is a spitfire. Kim Mulkey will say whatever is on her mind, right? And I'll tell you that at times has been a staple for her at Baylor University and been a staple for great sound bites that have made her look stoic and great in the national media. There have been other times where comments that Coach Kim Mulkey has made have put a poor light on herself or the program, or a poor light on Baylor University. She has said some things in front of cameras, in microphones, in front of arenas before that have hurt both herself, the university, and the university's image. Baylor has built an athletics department right now that is a PR goldmine. Look across the board. Dave Aranda, Michael Woodson, go across to Glenn Moore at softball, Steve Rodriguez, Scott Drew. An athletics program has been built here that Baylor Athletics that shines upon. You can set any of those guys in front of a camera right now, and you know what you're going to get. You didn't have that all the time with Kim Mulkey. That's not really her style or her brand. And that at times was a blur on the athletics program. That no longer is there. But I'll tell you, that is not something that made Mack Rhoades get Kim Mulkey out of Waco. This was not Mack's decision. This was not Mack or Dr. Livingstone's decision. It was Kim Mulkey who came to them and said, I am going to Baton Rouge. And I can tell you this right now, and you can take this to the bank. 254-339, call us or text us. This has been in the works for maybe a week, maybe more. I'll tell you I know how. Kramer Robertson, Kim Mulkey's son, tweeted out and said, this is the toughest secret that I've ever had to keep. I've known for days. Kramer Robertson's known for days. Anything that happened between, I'd say probably Wednesday, that is speculation, but I would assume Wednesday, Thursday when reports started to surface, anything that happened between then and the official announcement yesterday was just treading water until Kim Mulkey officially announced that she was leaving Baylor to go to Baton Rouge, because this thing has been inked, this thing has been official. Those reports were serious when they started almost a week ago. So this isn't something that she woke up yesterday. You saw the tweet, because I saw the tweet, that said Kim Mulkey will make a decision today. That was yesterday on Sunday. That it was still up in the air, that she would put it out there and make a decision. Well, guess what? The decision was already made. A lot of what happened was a PR stunt. A lot of what happened was a PR stunt in this to garner attention and pull attention away from a men's basketball program that just won a national championship. And you can't tell me it wasn't, because the way in which this thing was done. There are so many pieces of this that you can point to and say, okay, how much of this could have been very concise and quick if she actually just wanted to move back home? I think it would have looked a lot different. But it didn't. It looked like this. It looked like the spotlight is now on Coach Mulkey, on her at LSU, and everybody, not just in Waco and in Baton Rouge and Louisiana and Texas, everybody in the country is now talking about her and this move, and I think that's calculated. That is calculated. That's okay. A lot of coaches want that. Coaches want attention. Coaches want to be able to be seen as someone that is a driving factor for their university's athletics department, and Kim Mulkey was that. But listen to this. Kim Mulkey is going from a university of Baylor University that put women's basketball at number one. I've been here long enough to know, you've been here long enough to know, that right now, Kim Mulkey is the biggest show in town. Even with Scott Drew winning a national championship, Kim Mulkey is an idol for people in and around Baylor University and Baylor Athletics. She helped build the athletics department. So Kim Mulkey's departure, her departure to LSU, I can tell you this, no matter the success that Kim Mulkey has at LSU. Louisiana State University is a football school. It has become a men's basketball school. It is a baseball school, Paul Maneri and Alex Bach Stadium. Women's basketball will be fourth on that totem pole. Do I believe that it should be? No, I do not. I do not. However, at LSU, there is no way that Kim Mulkey will ever be at the top of the totem pole. On top, if LSU football wins 8 games, goes to a bowl, and wins the Citrus Bowl, then that's going to be bigger than Kim Mulkey going to an Elite 8 or a Final Four. And that's just the way the brand is in Louisiana. It's the way the brand is at Louisiana State University at the football program. That is what's king in Louisiana, and Kim Mulkey's stepping into an environment that is not Baylor. The fan base, I wholly believe, the fan base will never idolize Kim Mulkey in Louisiana like the Baylor fan base did when she won 3 national championships, because this place was built on women's basketball when that's the only thing that was winning. Louisiana State University just won a football national championship a couple of years ago, and you're going to tell me that Coach Mulkey can walk into that program and be the queen of LSU. Kim Mulkey was the queen of Baylor University. Am I wrong in saying that? She was the queen of Baylor University. And now she's going to LSU, where she will never be the queen of LSU. She won't be the top dog at LSU. She doesn't call the shots. So I will say there's a lot of things that went into this decision, but Kim Mulkey is the one that made it. It wasn't Mack Rhoades. Kim took all that stuff into account, and she said, I am leaving Baylor University to go to LSU. This isn't on Mack Rhoades. It's not on the Baylor Athletics Department. This is a decision that Kim Mulkey made herself. 254-339-1122. The phone lines, text lines are open. We got Douglas on the what's that? We got Douglas on the call line.
We just lost connection.
Okay, so we're going to get Douglas. We'll come back to you here in a second. Douglas, give us a call back if you can. Let me know when we get back up, if you will, Armstrong. We got the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line is open. This texter says, hate to see her go, but I wish her and us the best. That from Marshall Burns, and I couldn't agree more. You've got Kim Mulkey's a legend at Baylor University still, even though she is taking her talents to Louisiana State University. Kim Mulkey is still a legend, and what I said on Friday, I said Kim Mulkey is the one that built the Baylor Athletics Department. Second text we got on the line here. Actually, let's get to it real quick. We got Douglas. Douglas, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Douglas, talk to me.
Yeah, well, I'm actually up here in Kansas City, Kansas, and I often keep up with Baylor since Waco is my hometown. And I'm always just so enthralled by Baylor, where it's come from, because you got to remember, I came up at a time in the 70s when Baylor didn't win anything. And just to see them win a game, we were all excited in Waco. But now to be up here in Kansas City and seeing the growth of what Baylor has done almost at every level with sports, I've just been blown away. So, of course, when I heard about Coach Mulkey leaving Baylor, I was disappointed, but I certainly understood it. She's put in 20 years, and she should be able to go wherever she wants to go at this point. And again, you know, we're going to miss her, but there are other outstanding coaches out there who are more than willing to take up the mantle at Baylor. So I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of Baylor. Even up here in KU country, I often get ridiculed for it, but that's okay. I'm a bear at heart, and that's okay. But I want you guys to know there are a lot of people up here in Kansas City who keep up with the Bears and who have been converted into Bears. So you guys just keep doing what you're doing at Baylor. We're very proud of you. So that's my 2 cents for the day.
Hey, Douglas, thanks for your call. Douglas, you know, you said you followed Baylor athletics up through the 70s. I made the comment on Friday, last Friday, that Kim Mulkey is what built the Baylor athletics department. She's the first coach to win at the level that she won. Yeah. Would you agree with that assessment as someone that's followed Baylor since the 70s?
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. As I said before, back in the 70s, Baylor just didn't win anything. And I got to tell you, when Grant Taft first came on the scene, he could have walked on water. We couldn't believe what he was doing at Baylor at that time. And just so happened that one of the guys who did a great job at Baylor was a high school, a childhood friend of mine, Alfred Anderson. Know him very well, know his family very well. He's doing well. And I just know he's always beaming because we always text each other all the time about Baylor. So, yeah, she's done a fantastic job at Baylor, and she has no really no reason to apologize for anything. She's done what she's done, and anyone who's seen her coach, she coaches with passion. And she's given Baylor and Waco everything she could. So I'm happy for her, actually.
I'm happy for her, too. I mean, she put in her 21 years here in Waco. Someone tweeted out the other day, if you spend 15 years in Waco, you deserve to go wherever you want to. And so she's going back home. You know, I don't know if it's a family move necessarily, but she is going back home. I don't think that was at the forefront of why she made this move, but I know it was part of it. Douglas, thank you for your call, and call us again sometimes. That was really good.
All right, for sure. Take care.
Thank you. You too. If you're listening on YouTube right now, if you're listening on Facebook, if you're listening on Twitter, find a way that's best for you to listen. I don't want you to have to sit on YouTube on your phone all day, or Facebook or Twitter. Download the SicEm365 app. Go to SicEm365.com/live, and you can listen to both Up-Tempo and SicEm365 Radio in the afternoon every day from 11 to 2 and then 3 to 6. Got a couple of these texts on the text line coming in. This texter says, Kim is gone, and she can take her attitude and ego with her on the way out. And I think you've got a solid split of people who believe, okay, this is great PR for the university when you take someone out who's been a big staple. She's been a big figure, a major figure, who you didn't exactly know what she was going to say in front of a camera. And then there are other people who believe that she's a legend. You know, that Kim Mulkey hung the moon and she could have done no wrong. So I think you got fans that are on both sides of this. And I'll tell you, I do not believe this was a move for Kim Mulkey where she was moving home. Yes, that's part of it. But I'm telling you, there are other parts of this. Someone comments here, says Mack Rhoades pushed her out. And I can tell you that what I know and what I've heard from multiple sources within the athletics department and outside of it, that's not what happened. This decision, Kim Mulkey came to Mack Rhoades, came to Dr. Livingstone, and said, this is it. This is it. It's my time to go. If there was ever a time for Kim Mulkey to leave, though, it'd be now. She's got another 10, maybe 15 years of coaching, somewhere in between, left in her. If she's going to go to a program and sustain wins at a program over that course of time, she needed to leave now and do it. However, you're also taking players like Nalissa Smith. Armstrong, I don't know if you have that tweet. Nalissa Smith tweeted, funny how it's crazy how one day can change your life. Queen Egbo also put a tweet out. What do those players do now? They have given their basketball careers to Kim Mulkey here at Baylor University. They came to Baylor to win under Kim Mulkey, and now what for those seniors? Where do they go? What do they do? And that's why, and we'll get to it later in the show, I believe this program, from assistant coaches all the way to not only assistant coach, all the way to players, things will be gutted. The team will look a lot different come next season with Kim Mulkey departing Louisiana, especially with the way that she recruits players from the state of Louisiana. I'll tell you this, we got a couple more callers here on the line. Statman in Waco. Statman's been covering Baylor for a long time. Statman, 21 years, ends today. What are your thoughts?
Good morning, Drake. You made some very interesting points about Kim Mulkey and Mack Rhoades, so I'm not going to publicly share my opinion. Your sources are much closer than the ones that I have, so I am just going to defer to what you've said and just simply say that Kim Mulkey left a lasting legacy. In my opinion, she's the greatest head coach in the history of Baylor athletics, with all the Big 12 Conference regular season and tournament titles, the 4 Final Four appearances, the 3 national championships. She's earned a statue at the new basketball pavilion, whether it ends up being near the Farrell Center on the Baylor campus or in downtown Waco. That's a moot point now in terms of the location of the basketball pavilion in regard to Kim Mulkey. And I wish her success at LSU. Thanks for the memories, Kim Mulkey, at Baylor. And I concur with you. It was her decision, and we need to accept it and move forward as those of us who love and support Baylor Lady Bears basketball.
Statman, I want to ask you this, and this is a tough question. I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I think a lot of fans are wondering this, and I want to know from you, who's been a fan for a long time, an alumni, are Baylor basketball fans, Baylor women's basketball fans, are they fans of Kim Mulkey, or are they fans of the women's basketball program? How does this change the dynamic of how fans support this program?
Very good question. I think that there have been longtime Baylor Lady Bears basketball fans, even before Kim Mulkey came to Baylor, when Sonja Hogg was the head coach, and they had some modest success, and then they had that big down year before Kim Mulkey's arrival 20 years ago this month. I think that there's still going to be some Baylor Lady Bears fans that will continue to support the program financially. I do think that there may be some that loved Kim Mulkey so much that they may choose not to continue being season ticket holders, or maybe not attend every Baylor Lady Bear home basketball game in the future. Again, my opinion on the matter, just trying to answer your question. But let me switch briefly and say that I was at the Herd Tennis Center, so I personally saw Baylor women's tennis defeat Iowa State in the semifinals, and not surprised that they lost for a fourth time to Texas in the finals. Very exciting and dramatic ending to the Baylor TCU men's semifinal yesterday. Great crowd for that match, and it came down to Spencer Furman winning in 3 sets to put Baylor over the top 4-3 and set up a rematch with Baylor in Texas. I'll be at the Herd Tennis Center 2 p.m. this afternoon to cheer and support Michael Woodson and Baylor men's tennis as they go for the Big 12 tournament title. By the way, I saw T-Rex and Scotty B there, and so very excited about Baylor men's and women's tennis. They're both going to be host sites in the NCAA Tennis Championships leading into the rest of that big event, destination Orlando, Florida.
I love it. Hey, Statman in Waco, thanks for your call.
Thanks, Drake. SicEm Bears.
Absolutely. Again, 254-339-1122. Call us or text us on the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line. Conversation going on here. We have one person. I love this. Ryan Moy says, I miss Kim Mulkey. I will miss Kim Mulkey, but I'm a Baylor fan before anything. When it comes to support of the women's basketball program, this is not an opportunity for folks to say, Kim Mulkey's gone, I'm going to stop supporting the basketball program. No. Were you a Kim Mulkey fan? Or were you a Baylor fan? Were you a fan of a person or a fan of a program? Were you a fan of a personality or a university? That's a question. That's the question. And I sincerely hope that Baylor fans are Baylor fans and not Kim Mulkey fans. Yes, those go one and the same. Those have been mutual, have a very symbiotic relationship in the past. However, now that you've split the two apart, I sincerely hope that Baylor fans are Baylor fans and stick with the Lady Bear basketball program, because they're going to need support for whoever the next head coach is. There will be a new head coach within the next week. Do I think it'll be Sherry Cole? No. So don't. I've already seen a couple of those. Do I think it'll be Karen Aston? Probably not. We're going to have Karen on the show this week. We're going to have Aston on the show this week and get her thoughts. I shared some conversation with her yesterday, and she was shocked. She was shocked, to say the least, that Kim had ended up leaving Baylor to go to Louisiana State University. Karen, someone who comes from SEC country. So I believe it is a time for Baylor Nation to stand up, support Baylor and the Baylor women's basketball program with or without Kim Mulkey, because it's still a group of student athletes who represent the university. That is Baylor University. And I do, for those that are still saying it, this is not Mack Rhoades that pushed Kim Mulkey out. This isn't a push deal. Kim said, I'm leaving to LSU. That she is being paid almost $3 million a year when you combine everything as a women's basketball coach. And you don't get that very many places in the country. At what point, and there's been so much speculation about her making demands. I'll say this. I can't tell you whether or not she did make demands to Mack Rhoades or Dr. Livingstone. I'll address that now. I'd be remiss if I didn't address that, because that's what a lot of people are commenting on. That she made these demands to Mack Rhoades and President Livingstone. Say they're true, okay? Say they're not true. I have the same response. If it happened, do you expect the athletics department to bow down to anyone, whether it be the head tennis coach, the head soccer coach, the head basketball coach? Do you want a situation in which the athletic director, the administration, they are putting themselves out there, bowing down to a coach? You don't. You want them to help appease in any situation they can, but at the same time, there is this stepping ladder that you have to adhere to. So whether that happened or not, I will say, I still trust the judgment of the administration, whether that be Mack Rhoades, Dr. Livingstone, or whoever else. I trust the judgment of the administration, whether that was a happening or not. Whether she came to the administration or not and gave a list of demands, I don't know, and I can't say on this show firmly that she did, and if I wouldn't say that. But I do know that I have trust in the administration, and that this was not their decision to kick her out. This was her decision to leave Baylor University. People got to get that there. Kim Mulkey said, I am leaving Baylor University. That's her decision. She's a grown woman. She didn't need the athletic department's help to make that. You know Kim Mulkey. She is headstrong. She made that decision. She won't be pushed around by anybody. So this isn't somewhere where the athletic department said, you're gone. No, Kim Mulkey said, I'm gone. That must be understood as we go into a new era of Lady Bear basketball. T-Rex is on the caller line. T-Rex, what's going on, my man?
Oh, nothing much, man. It's the day after, right? I put a post up on the forum, that same thing, it's the day after, what are you thinking? Because usually, people, when big news like this breaks, everyone's emotional right away. You got to take a day or two, and then you figure out how you actually feel. So, the day after, people are still going to be animated, regardless of if you're, pro Kim, pro, I guess, Mac Rhodes, however you want to put it, or you don't care at all, whatever the case is. But, hey, you know what? We got to move on. And that's really, we can, you can mourn the loss for only so long before it becomes a festering issue within yourself. So I will never take away anything that Kim Mulkey did for Baylor, whether that's the program itself, Baylor basketball, or Baylor as a whole. She was here in a dark time. She brought us to new heights. 100% agree that those national championships proved, especially the 2005 one. I still think the 2005 one's more important than any of them. 2012 most impressive in my mind, given we were undefeated.
40-0.
But 2005 proved that you can do that in Baylor. You can win a national title in a premier sport at Baylor University in Waco, Texas. And we needed that, and that helped spark all the success. But like you said, she made a decision to leave. Whether there was this crazy conversation that some people have rumored between her and Mac or her and Linda, or it was a peaceful conversation, just two people talking like, hey, it's my time to go. Regardless of why she left, why she made that decision, at the end of the day, it was her decision. Just like you said, she wasn't fired. She made the conscious decision for herself to go to LSU.
Right.
I personally don't think it was a going home thing. But, hey, but at the end of the day, there are going to be fans who are never going to accept that. Just like there's fans who will never – I don't want to bring up another bad topic, but, there's fans who said the day that Art Briles was let go that they will never support Baylor again. There's any fans who will say they'll never donate. I've seen the comments. They'll never donate to Baylor ever again. They'll never go to another basketball game. A, you're talking out of your butt, because I guarantee you next season you're going to be in your seats again. Now, there obviously will be some that are like that, and my message to those people are, you were never truly a Baylor fan in my mind, because your loyalty should always first go to the program, the school. So if a coach leaving under her own desire, her own power, her own will, makes you hate Baylor all of a sudden, then you were never a Baylor fan to begin with. So most of you, if not all of you, pretty much will be back in your seats next year, or you'll be rocking your Baylor shirt to work on Friday when they let you wear T-shirts, and you'll be a Baylor fan still. And you got to support these players. Whoever stays, you got to support them. Whoever decides to go, good luck wherever you land. We're people come and go. That's life. So I hope everyone stays. Not realistic. But, hey, we're still going to be Baylor fans. I mean, Baylor existed before Kim Mulkey. Baylor's going to exist long after Kim Mulkey. So I think you're going to take a step back, because that's what happens when you lose a Hall of Fame coach in any sport. We're going to take a step back. Maybe the next hire isn't what puts us back on top. Maybe it takes a couple coaches. Who knows?
Yeah.
But Mac Rhodes, in my opinion, is the greatest athletic director currently in college athletics. And I think Linda Livingston is the best president. So I trust them. We pay them millions of dollars for a reason to lead this great program, and we win at high levels in every sport, and it's not just a coincidence. So we can mourn the loss, but you only need to mourn it for so long before you got to move on.
I love it. Hey, T-Rex.
We're calling sick, I don't know. Be out there, support another team that's fighting for another Big 12 championship. Times are high in Baylor athletics right now. We just won a men's basketball national championship. We won an acro national championship. The men's tennis just won a Big 12 championship. They're fighting for another one today. And our baseball team just beat the number 5 team in the nation at their house.
Right.
Probably one of the premier programs in the Big 12 for baseball. Beat them twice this weekend.
Can't be overshadowed. Right.
The sky is blue, guys. The world's not ending because Kim Mulkey left. I understand it's upsetting, but hey, there's a lot to be happy about, and you can't let the bad outweigh the good. SicEm Bears, I hope you all realize that women's basketball at Baylor is going to be just fine. We're going to still be giving them millions of dollars to make sure that we put the best product on the court.
Perfect. Thanks for your call, T-Rex.
We should hire Ashton just because it'd be funny. SicEm Bears, I'm out.
I don't think they're going to hire Ashton. I don't think Ashton's in the cards. Thanks for your call, T-Rex. I think he said it really well in saying that Baylor fans, not Kim Mulkey fans, Baylor fans, and the grass is still green. The grass is still green. You know, like there's so much. The men's basketball team just won a national championship. I am so frustrated. That after a great weekend of Baylor athletics, that this is what we're talking about on Monday. The men's tennis team plays at 2 p.m. today for a Big 12 championship. And I firmly hold that we should support and celebrate Baylor athletics across the board, cover them across the board. But this is the topic of conversation today. This is taking over the news today, especially after a national championship on Friday in acrobatics and tumbling. But here we are. Someone asks, does her daughter go with her? And I'll tell you this. I mean, I'm looking up and down the list of coaches on the coaching staff right now, and I'll tell you, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. There's no basis to this that I can tell you from sources that this is what happened. But in my opinion, the coaching staff's gone. Bill Brock is gone. Coach Messer is likely gone. I mean, Coach Fuller's likely gone. I mean, they are going to go with Kim Mulkey because I firmly believe that is a coaching staff that for 20 years or so has revolved and been around Kim Mulkey. Those coaches have not left for different head coaching jobs. Their alliance is to Kim Mulkey, but that makes a lot of sense. I think that is much more common than players having a certain alliance to coaches, but maybe that's how it'll go too with players, and you'll get some players that jump ship as well. G-Dub, I see you in here. G-Dub, we'll get you in here in 1 second. Got the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line that's open up right now. Scotty B. the Baylor King says that I admit it. I'm sad about Kim Mulkey leaving, and I'm sure she'll find a good replacement. That will find a good replacement for Kim Mulkey. As for men's tennis, Matias Soto rolled an ankle yesterday. I don't think he'll play in the match today. So a title match again in the Big 12 for men's tennis. Says the writing on the wall. One texter. For the past 5 years, yes, she won a national championship a year ago, but she shipwrecked quite a while ago. You can see it on her face. That I don't really have a comment for that. I think that text speaks for itself. The writing was on the wall. You could see it in her face. This one says, what's your take on this? As a tweet they've sent him, and it's from Darby Brown. Says, all of Kim Mulkey's coaching staff besides Bill Brock, this is per Darby Brown, so I can't confirm this, but Darby Brown has tweeted it out. Says all of Kim Mulkey's coaching staff besides Bill Brock and Coach Messer made the trip with her today to Baton Rouge. I think my take on that is that everyone is gone, and I do believe out of Coach Messer and Coach Brock, one of those two will likely go with them. I don't know Bill Brock's age, and I'm not sure how long Bill Brock could stay at the helm, but if Coach Messer or Coach Brock are hired, I think that is the biggest win for Baylor University. If one of those two coaches is the next head coach at Baylor University, I think it's the biggest win for retaining athletes. I think it's the biggest win for retaining fans, and other parts of that staff is hiring within a staff that has 3 national championships. So that, again, reported by Darby Brown, that everyone made the trip to Louisiana on the staff with Coach Mulkey today, except for Coach Messer and Coach Brock to visit Baton Rouge. Also on the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line, Diane says she won't be the queen. She'll always be Kramer's mom at LSU. I think that text speaks for itself. Kramer was a hell of a baseball player, and a lot of folks know that name because of Kramer Roberts, know Kim Mulkey's name because of Kramer Robertson and what he did for Pulmonary at Alex Box Stadium for the baseball team. We also have here from Brandon. Brandon says, I don't have words. Rhodes better hit the hire out of the park. Right now he has hired a 2-7 football coach and a 500 all-time baseball coach. No. And let Kim go to be, as your, say, 3rd to 4th in a pecking order coach. Agree with that. Yeah, she's going to be 3rd and 4th in the pecking order at LSU. I think the Aranda hire, how are you going to judge the Aranda hire right now? I don't have any respect for takes that judge the Aranda hire already in a COVID year, but that's just me. This guy says, as an LSU alum and Louisiana native, I can tell you personally, Kim Mulkey is living legend in Louisiana. I'm glad to see her back. I feel bad for Baylor's loss, but having her back is wonderful. She's the youngest person ever inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. She was only 28. So she is going back home to a state that knows her, but it's an LSU program that doesn't value women's basketball like Baylor did. Is that true? I think that's objectively true. I think it's objectively. Armstrong, am I off base in saying that Baylor women's basketball, Baylor would value women's basketball over what LSU would value at women's basketball? And he's shaking his head no. And I think that's objectively true. That's objectively true. This says, which players do you think will go? I fully agree, hearing more what's going on every day with Kim. This has been in the works since the UConn game. I think it's been in the works since maybe the men's national championship game. Kim's daughter and her son-in-law are staying in Waco, this texter says. Maybe that's true. I mean, her son-in-law just got a job in Waco. He's got a nice job in Waco. So what would have them go to Louisiana with her? I don't know. Also says, I love Kim very much. Very disappointed to see Kim leave, but I think Baylor will make the correct decision on who they hire. They will hire that person. There's already rumors of who they'll go after as the next head coach or naming an interim coach. 2 of the assistant coaches didn't go with Mulkey today. Maybe Brock or Messer. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and one of those stays. G-Dub, what's going on, my man? Thanks for waiting on the call line so long, and I see Bill coming up after you. Bill, thanks for holding on there. Stay with us.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, for the people that are saying that Mack Rhoades forced her out, that's just not true. I mean, that's just not true. He's not the type of dude that say, okay, you're not my you weren't my hire to begin with, you're gone. Like, and then to say that he thinks or they think that he won't make the right hire, what hire has he missed on? What hire has he missed on since he's been in Waco? Like, if we're being honest, what hire has he missed?
I mean, you're going to have people that say Aranda. You're going to have people that say that he's missed on Aranda, and I think it's wholly unfair to say that he's missed on Aranda.
Exactly. If you're judging Dave Aranda off of a COVID year 2-7 season, then that shows how little you know about the coaching profession and how long it takes to build a program. Because I'm pretty sure the same people were judging Scott Drew after those first couple of rough years, and then they were cheering for him when they were coming back from the national championship.
Yeah. I mean, Rhoades just got a huge extension, signed Matt Rule to that extension, which was big. He hired Matt Rule, hired Dave Aranda, who I think is a great hire. I think he's on the cusp of hiring Michael Woodson. He got Brian Boland, although that was a dumpster fire in the end. He got Brian Boland away from that's the biggest name in men's tennis. He got him to come to Waco. He's retained a great staff with coaches like Jay Goebel. I mean, you've got coaches across the board that have stayed here because of Mack Rhoades and that enjoy Mack Rhoades and like Mack Rhoades. So I don't even feel like I deserve to give an opinion on Mack Rhoades because coaches that have been at Baylor and have won at Baylor are already giving their opinions. Coach Harder already giving their opinions, and they all love him.
And then the other thing is, maybe, and then we all know, like you said, Kim Mulkey. She's hard-headed. She's stubborn. And maybe she saw the men win the national championship and thought, okay, I wouldn't say I'm not the favorite of the 2 programs anymore, but I'm not going to be. She thought I'm not going to be as supported as I was before before the men won that national championship. Maybe she felt a little pressure that maybe she had to prove herself even more, which wasn't going to be the case.
I don't know. I think that's speculation that can be made. But G-Dub, you got anything else really quickly? We got to get to a couple more of these callers in here. Thanks for calling us, though.
Yeah. It was good. It felt good to be back in McLean on Saturday. I mean, the offense. Everybody was complaining about the offense about not scoring that many points. It's not about but the spring game to me wasn't about them scoring points. It was the fact that to see if Grimes had a plan, if he had a plan in place and see what his offense was going to look like. And coming out of that game, I have a feeling that we're going to have a pretty good offense. Maybe not this year, but in the next couple of years.
Possibly so. Hey, G-Dub, thanks for your call.
Yes, sir.
I wish we were talking about that today. I wish we were talking about the spring game and about the national championship in acro and tumbling. I wish, and we will. We will get to that later on in the show. We got a baseball player joining us as well. At 12:05, we're joined by an LSU expert who's going to talk on the topic. We got Bill. Bill's been waiting for a while. Bill from Austin, what do you got for us on Kim Mulkey?
Hey, guys. Yeah, man, I think this is a classic case where multiple things can be true, right? And just like T-Rex said, Mulkey, as somebody who's been a Baylor fan for 40 years, her impact is not necessarily as a women's basketball coach as much as it is a person who changed the entire athletic department and taught that athletic department that they could win on the highest level. And if you look at when she started winning, just the success from the Tennessee national title, and then you kind of carried over to football and men's basketball. I mean, just you can't put it really a dollar value or on what she did for the school. That being said,
I think you can.
I think this is a situation also where it's just time for her to leave. If you look at, and a lot of this I do think it's in Mack Rhoades, but not necessarily in a bad way. If you look at our previous athletic director, he was more of a pushover, and I think Kim got everything she wanted. You just look at everything that happened with the football program. I think you kind of know he didn't have his finger on everything that he should have. So I think by Matt coming in, different personality, maybe a little more strong-willed, that's kind of when things with Kim, I think, started getting a little rocky. Also, she had some health issues. And, if you're her, if you're going to make a move, now's the time to do it. She's going to a state to where she is the queen, and I think we're underestimating that a little bit. I think LSU fans will show up for her, especially at the beginning if she has some sort of reasonable success. So, wish her the best, but I think, Baylor's going to be fine. Women's basketball is a sport where you can gain a significant advantage based on your resources, and we're one of the few schools that spend the way that we spend on that sport. I think it's going to give us a lot of good candidates, and, hopefully Mac, picks a good one and keep rolling along on that. But, anyways, appreciate the show, and talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks for your call, Bill. I agree that Mack Rhoades is not a pushover. Mack Rhoades, it is his athletic department, and he makes the decision. That said, back to other callers' points, Mack also didn't come into Baylor like a lot of athletic directors do. I can tell you, Ole Miss just recently hired an athletic director who came in and pretty much cleaned house on a lot of the smaller sports and said, I want my coaches in here. Mack didn't do that. Mack retained a lot of the coaches that are here. I think that says a lot about Rhoades, but at the same time, he set his own standard. And I don't think Mack Rhoades did anything wrong here. How much more can you give a coach? $3 million a year to coach women's basketball. That's rare. That's rare in this game. What else are we asking for? There's more support from the fan base? How many other women's basketball programs have that many people that show up to the Farrell Center? More than men's on a lot of different occasions. How much more? How much more can you ask? There's only so much an athletic director can do to appease coaches. And I do believe it's different revenue sports and non-revenue sports. I wanted Kim Mulkey to stay as much as the next person. But there comes a point where it's time. Was it time from Baylor's front? Maybe not. Was it time from Kim Mulkey's front? She thought so. And that's why she's gone today. We got a couple more of these texts in here. This one says, you make a good point, but it still seems that there's tension between her and the admin really since Matt got to Waco. And that was a driving reason behind her leaving to LSU when the job came open. That's why people are saying Mac ran her off. I'll always be a Lady Bear basketball fan. Can't wait to see who comes next. I'm now a Lady Tiger basketball fan too. That's the level of my respect for Coach Mulkey. Never rooted for another university either, ever. And I like that. I like that take. I'll be rooting for Kim Mulkey, and I'll tell you why. She built... I said it Friday, and I think she built the Baylor athletic department. She built Baylor into a national brand. Kim Mulkey did. And so she should be remembered as a legend for doing that, because that was huge what she did. For those of you listening on YouTube right now, for those of you listening on Twitter or Facebook, you can find a way to listen for you. Put on your TV. Go to Roku, SicEm365, Uptempo, YouTube. You can find it. Put it on your TV. Watch all day on your desktop as well. On your phone, go to the SicEm365 app. You can sync the SicEm365 app, Bluetooth it to your car, and listen to Uptempo and our afternoon show as well. Or go to SicEm365.com/live. We got, looks like Chris, is this Chris? Wait a second. It's our father, Jack Wheeler. Jack, what's going on?
Hey, buddy. What's going on?
A busy day, man. Busy day.
Honestly,
a lot of news around there. What's going on, Jack?
I wish Mulkey the best. I hold no ill will towards her. Yeah. Don't hold any ill will against her. What she did at Baylor was absolutely incredible. She built that program and made it what it is today, and she's left it in a so much better position than when she started. And you can't get mad about it because it was her decision at the very end of the day. Hate to see her leave, because it's obviously there's going to be a drop-off for a little while.
Yeah.
But I trust Mack Rhoades, and what G-Dub said earlier, people who are saying this is all Mack Rhoades' fault, he's never made a good hire, and are basing off of Aranda's hire after one season, you cannot get mad at a first football coach because of COVID-19 hitting and him not being able to spend more time to get to know his players. But other than that, I do trust that Mack and the rest of the athletic administration are going to find the right person for the job, because we're blue blood in women's college basketball now. People will be interested in taking our job, and we'll find the right candidate. I fully believe that.
What do you think that you will watch Baylor women's basketball any less now? I mean, does this taint your fandom at all when it comes to Baylor women's basketball at all, really?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I mean, Mulkey, here's the thing. The basketball team was a lot of fun to watch because they were good and the players that we have had over the years. Mulkey was just the one coaching them. And Mulkey had that personality that, and like you were saying earlier, she helped build the athletic department and tried to show it like, hey, we can win at this level even though we're a private institution. She helped build that. I will miss the fiery side that she would show during coaching sometimes. Out of some of the coaches we've had in the past, I've never seen a coach so into it and jumping up and down, screaming at how excited she is. I will miss that part of her coaching. And I just hope whoever we get can build up that same enthusiasm like she had on the sideline.
Jack, thank you for your call, man. I think you make a great point there, especially on our enthusiasm. Always good to hear from you. All right, there you go.
Absolutely, and let's go get Joni.
Yeah, I think we got cut off there at the end. We lost Jack. Bad connection on Jack. Jack, shoot us a text, though. I think you had a recommendation for a coach there at the end. I do want to make a comment on what Jack said, that last point, and that is that Kim Mulkey was fiery. Kim Mulkey is somebody that you would hate to play against, and a lot of the national media did not like Kim Mulkey. Her opponents did not like Kim Mulkey. Karen Aston, Sherry Cole, you could tell they may not have been the biggest Kim Mulkey fans, and that's what made Kim Mulkey great and legendary in a lot of people's courts at Baylor, was when you have a coach like Kim Mulkey on your side, what is there not to love about that? When that coach, when the fiery coach that's going to go out there and make just a splash is on your side. I think from a PR standpoint, that has its ups and downs. However, fans love that. This right here says, Evan Ronald Sutton, I won't be watching. I watched because of Mulkey. I have to question your Baylor fandom. Period. If you will stop supporting Baylor women's basketball because Kim Mulkey's no longer the head coach, then were you a Baylor fan in the first place? It's rhetorical. This right here from the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line says, you're too young to realize how many times our lame administration has jerked around its alumni and fans. Losing Kim is just another example of this. I'll tell you who's not too young. Thank you, by the way. David Smoak. Tune in this afternoon. He'll tell you that it's not the administration. Kim left Baylor. Kim Mulkey is an adult. She decided to leave Baylor. This says, I wholeheartedly trust Mack Rhoades. I think all the criticism he's getting is unwarranted. He made the Matt Rule hire as well as Dave Aranda. Most coaches also have the world to say of him. I mean, he hired Kim Anderson. He hired a couple different really good coaches over the course of his tenure. I mean, between Missouri and Houston. And then he won a national championship at Akron. Who wins a national championship at Akron? Come on, you guys. Most coaches also have the world to say. I don't like how some Kim Mulkey fans are now attacking Baylor athletics because they're upset that she's leaving. This one says, any information if the press conference is going to be broadcasted? If so, details, please. Nothing that I've seen yet, which it could have come out since we started the show. This says, T-Rex says, my sources say the daughter is not leaving Waco. Her daughter's not leaving Waco. Mackenzie Fuller, her husband's successful commercial real estate agent in Waco. They don't want to leave, and Messer is interviewing for the head coaching gig. That's what T-Rex says. I can't confirm that, but apparently he's got some sources out there. I can't confirm that, but I think Messer would be a great head coach. This says Kim can't stand someone else being successful, especially within the same sport. Was she at the Final Four or national championship in Indy? I don't think so. I didn't see anything from Kim. I don't remember if she made any comments on the national championship either. Philip, I saw your call in here. Philip, call us back. I'm sorry we didn't get to. I know it's been a wild day of callers, but please do call us back, Philip. But yeah, a caller saying that Kim couldn't stand success in other sports. Sharing the spotlight's not easy. Was that a part that played in this? I don't know. It can be speculated that was a part that played in this, but sharing the spotlight, especially as a sport that's won 3 national championships, is not easy. And when you're asked to share the spotlight with a national championship team, do you think, and I struggle with whether or not I wanted to say this, but do you think that this was a calculated move? Think about the team she had coming back next year. Nalissa Smith, preseason National Player of the Year in some courts. Queen Egbo, who is unbelievably dominant, maybe the Defensive Player of the Year next year in the Big 12. You've got a team coming back. Moon Urson may have come back with a recruiting class. You've got Miriam Dowda, who's she's a top 5-star recruit. All of that coming to Baylor next year. Why now? You know? Like, it does make sense on some fronts. She has 10 or 15 years, but why not after next year would Kim Mulkey part from Baylor to LSU? Does it have anything to do with the success around the other programs? So again, sharing spotlight is something that not a lot of coaches love to do. I don't know that Kim Mulkey is one of those coaches, but would this be different if men's basketball had lost in the Sweet 16 this year? Would it? That's a question that I want to know. I can't answer that for you, but I want you to formulate your own opinion and text me or call me at 254-339-1122. I'd love to know. I'd love to get your thoughts. More on the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line, and then we'll get to Matt in D.C. This says, I saw a live video from Baton Rouge TV station of Kim's arrival, and all the coaches except Coach Brock and Coach Messer got off the plane. McKenzie, Clay, and Cannon were all there. That's from Kay Whitley. Clay's got a job here. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I think Clay's going to just follow off for mom-in-law? Maybe. I don't know. I can't tell you. Matt in D.C. is on the. He's been waiting for a while here on the caller line. Matt in D.C., what's going on?
It's a tough day, guys. Tough day. Really sad that Kim left. I mean, I'll just say this: I don't understand all the people coming out like kind of hating on Kim. I think everyone. It's easy to forget where we were in 2000 as a school and an athletic program. We were a small little Bible college in Waco, Texas that no one gave a damn about nationally. And then Kim Mulkey came in. She won her first year. In 5 years, she won a national championship, and she made the entire athletic department and the administration realize, oh, we can win here. If the women's can win, why can't all the sports win? She made the donations go up, everything. Her biggest impact is showing that you can win at Baylor, and especially made – the donations, everything just grew. And from Kim Mulkey, the impact forever is going to be she changed the atmosphere of the entire school. All right, because forever, Baylor, the administrations, they didn't invest in football. They didn't invest in basketball. No one gave a damn. And then she came in and said, we can win here. Let's do this. And all the programs are better now for it.
I agree.
Look at every single program prior to Kim Mulkey, and now look at them after 20 years later and the difference there is. Every team is competitive every year. All right, we don't tolerate losing anymore. We used to accept losing at every sport. That was a fact. So for all you people hating on Kim Mulkey, that's going to be her legacy forever. I'm sad she left, but the good thing is the basketball program is in such a condition now that we can bring in the next person, and people we're going to keep investing in the program. The fans are going to be there. I think we're one of 3, maybe 4 programs that invest so much. And hey, Kim, I know you left, but it's just people that think, if people were saying that we're not going to make the tournament next year, you know how easy it is to make the women's basketball tournament? There's only like 5 competitive teams that can win it every year. And you're telling me we can't find a coach that can't win a national championship every 7 years? Because that's what Kim did. Every 7 years, we won a national championship.
Yeah.
You telling me we can't find another coach that can replicate that with all the basically the infrastructure we have? We can, guys.
I'll tell you this.
We can do that.
Matt in D.C., I'd be very worried if this was a different school. If this was a different school, I'd be very worried that a new head coach comes in and they just wouldn't care because women's basketball is not necessarily a revenue sport, and they would just sweep it under the rug, hire whoever the first name that pops up is, and just say, all right, hey, just don't be a PR nightmare. Good luck. Let's move on. But I do firmly believe that Baylor University will make it a point to make the best hire and to continually win in a sport that might not make them money.
Exactly. We didn't tell once. Browse changed the football program, and he ended up leaving, and we continue to invest in the program. We were one play away from the college football playoff, people, with Matt Rule.
because we kept investing in the program. We don't tolerate losing anymore like we did prior to 2000. We used to accept mediocrity. We don't accept mediocrity, and you damn sure know Mack Rhodes is not going to accept losing in any sport, including, I mean, if the horses are doing it bad in equestrian, he'll go find some new horses, okay? He's not going to accept mediocrity. Now, we can be back. She only made 4 Final Fours in 21 years, all right? That's a fact. We're not UConn here. UConn goes every single year in 11 national titles. 4 Final Fours in 21 years, 3 titles once every 7 years. We can find a coach to do the exact same thing.
I mean, you got to have a legend to replace the legend. And I think if you don't hire within, then Baylor would be remiss. It's going to be tough to hire within considering the nature of this move and how many of her staff or her players go with her. But I do believe, here's the deal. The fireworks are happening right now. However, the fireworks to come are the ones that are going to shake the foundation of Baylor women's basketball. Kim Mulkey leaving, yes, that starts it, but the earthquake comes with who goes with her player-wise, who goes with her coaching-wise. I think most of the coaches are gone. But if you retain Messer, if you retain Brock, and you see that Nalissa Smith, Queen Egbo, Moon Urson, players like that stay, Miriam Dowda continues to, or decides to stay at Baylor, if you see that with the hiring of Coach Messer or Coach Brock, then in that case, you will see that these players were loyal not to Kim Mulkey, but to Baylor women's basketball and to Baylor University in itself. I think that'd be a big, big win for Baylor. That's to be seen. Matt and DC, though, thanks for your call and giving us your thoughts today.
I appreciate it. And you know what? Just hire Kim Mulkey wasn't a legend until she got the opportunity. So let's find the best recruiter, the best coach possible. Mack Rhodes is going to do it because every hire he's made has been good. So let's keep it moving. Thank you, guys.
I love it. Thanks for your call, Matt and DC. Love those topics. Love the thoughts from Matt and DC. This says from Girl Friday 85. So let's talk about possible replacements for Kim's job. What do you think about the women's basketball coach at Georgia? I'll tell you, she came to town. What was it? Not last season, but the season before. And she got Georgia to the national powerhouse this year, to the women's basketball. It's Joni Taylor got Georgia to the SEC championship this past season. She's got a lot of people respect her and are in her court in women's basketball across the board. I don't know why she would leave Georgia. I don't know enough about her to say why she would leave Georgia, but I know Baylor's a destination spot for a lot of people. She's from Meridian, Mississippi, so Joni Taylor, I'm not sure if that's going to be in the cards for her. Maybe she's an SEC gal, but I'm sure Mac will not leave any rock unturned. How about Mike Neighbors? How about Mike Neighbors from University of Arkansas? He's a listener of the show and been on the show a couple times. Who's the head coach there that beat Kim Mulkey this past season and beat Gino Auriemma. I don't know if you can pull him away. He's an alumni at U of A and from Central Arkansas, or from Northwest Arkansas. This says Mack Rhodes hired Matt Rule, who's now an NFL coach. Aranda won a title in football the year before he came to Waco. He knows what he's doing. Mack will take care of the women's basketball program and get it back to the top. Aranda didn't have a spring camp last year. How are you going to judge Dave Aranda? I agree wholeheartedly with that. I also agree, Mack Rhodes, I don't believe he's missed on a hire yet. I think Dave Aranda's going to be big. Look at the defense. You don't think Dave Aranda's a great football coach? Look at Dave Aranda's defense at LSU. Look what he's already done at Baylor. Come on. You know? Just look at the defense. Flip, man. Dave Aranda can coach football. I'm tired of that argument. Mack Rhodes didn't miss on the Dave Aranda hire. And those are like, yeah, well, Matt Rule went 500. He walked into a program that was in that some thought would get the death penalty, and within 3 years went to the Sugar Bowl and went 11-1 to the Big 12 championship. Who can do that? Mack Rhodes made that hire, and nobody. You know how many skeptics there were when Matt Rule went 1-11? Yeah, exactly. Jack Wheeler says, sorry I got cut off. Meant to say let's go get Joni Taylor from Georgia. He wants Joni Taylor as well. Strong Christian woman, great coach, great recruiter. This right here says, any information of the press conferences? This, Kim Mulkey's landed. LSU new women's basketball coaches arrived in Baton Rouge. There are videos out there of her stepping off the plane in Louisiana today. Crowd of fans. Armstrong, I'm going to send you this link. If we can get some of these pictures up, that'd be great. I'll text it to you. Sorry, I know that's not the best way to do that, but we'll get some of those pictures up. Thanks for that. And then this right here says, hires Coach Messer. Still want Coach Messer. She's an excellent recruiter. Has been with Mulkey for years. Would keep the team together for a national championship run next year. I agree. I think Coach Messer would be the A1 hire right now if they can collect it. This says, has Scott Drew reacted yet? I haven't seen anything from Scott Drew yet. But I know Scott Drew's a stand-up guy. I have no questions about that. Says, I don't like this being spread around all week. The fact that LSU media, women's basketball media, didn't stay quiet on it kind of annoys me, and I hope the players and coaches are also mad. I think the players are mad. Look at their tweets. I don't think that's speculation. I think the players are mad. Says, could have been a huge surprise today or Sunday, but instead they talked about it all day. Said so many women's basketball reporters talk smack about her because she was open, unlike other coaches. Coaches who are open are better than others. This says, do you think the Regents threatened to fire Kim after her COVID comments? No. This video, Kim Mulkey and Coach O, and then players seem too upset to leave. I think the players are going to stick with Baylor after some of the comments. I hope so, at least. This also says Aranda's defense almost helped us beat Oklahoma in Norman last season. That's true. That was a really good game. I got Joe Frazier is on the caller line right here. Joe, we're going to have to hold off to probably the end of this 12 o'clock hour. So coming up after this on the show, we got LSU expert. I got into a bit of a Twitter war over whether or not Kim Mulkey would leave. And the Twitter war was with someone who I now have a lot of respect for and some conversations we've had personally, and someone who's going to join the show today to talk about women's college basketball and LSU. He's an LSU expert, Matt Anderson. Matt's going to give us perspective from the LSU side of things on what he sees in Kim Mulkey, why she's going to fit in at Louisiana State University. And I'll tell you, you're not going to want to miss this because sparks have flown during interviews before. Sparks are about to fly in this one because we're going to get into a pretty good conversation, pretty good discussion with Matt Anderson about LSU, Kim Mulkey, and why the move now. Matt Anderson of One Team, One Podcast joins the show in a second, and I am telling you, sparks are going to fly in this one because I know Matt and I disagree on a lot of these different subjects and a lot of these different parts of why Kim Mulkey would leave and why she's going to LSU. But he's going to give us perspective, inside perspective that he has from inside sources in Baton Rouge to tell us why Kim Mulkey's leaving, why she's leaving now, and what this means for Louisiana State and their basketball program. Is Kim Mulkey going to be the queen of the state of Louisiana? That is still to be determined, but I can tell you this. Football is the A1 sport in the SEC, period, and women's basketball, where's it going to fall into the shuffle with Kim Mulkey soon? That, again, remains to be seen. The first hour of SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo is brought to you by Banson Business Services, owned by Baylor grad and SicEm365 premium member Jonathan Green. Banson Business Services offers a full suite of business support and financial services. Banson specializes in bookkeeping, payroll, outsourced CFO services, and consulting. They can help you with your taxes. Their business helps you run your business. Visit SicEm365.com/Banson for more information. When we come back, LSU Tiger expert Matt Anderson joins the show, and this is going to be good. Don't go anywhere. This is Up-Tempo.
Gone. Kim Mulkey's career as head coach of the Baylor Lady Bears is finished after 21 seasons, 23 conference championship trophies, 4 Final Fours, and 3 national championships. The legendary coach pulls her name out of the conversation with the game's greats such as Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt, and Muffet McGraw, who led championship programs up until retirement. For the first time in 21 years, Baylor is without a women's basketball coach. Mack Rhoades is now on the search to replace Mulkey as the transfer portal heats up. The Lady Bears attempt to retain both players currently on the roster and target freshmen. It's going to be a long week. In lighter and much better news, the Baylor baseball team shocked college baseball with a series victory at number 5 Texas Tech, the first home series loss for the Red Raiders since 2018, a team that came 20-2 in Lubbock this season. The Bears were dominant with a 26-8 run differential and an emphatic 13-3 victory in Sunday's rubber match. The softball team had a similar success with a series victory at previously ranked Iowa State in Ames, winning on both Friday and Sunday to secure the series. The team has now won 3 of 4, and coach Glenn Moore is 1 win away from 800 career wins. This team can afford him that mark against number 1 Oklahoma on Tuesday. And the men's tennis team has punched its ticket to the Big 12 championship match today against number 2 Texas in Waco to clinch both the regular season and tournament championship in conference. On the women's side, Baylor fell in the Big 12 title match against powerhouse Texas. The team will now await its postseason seeding. And the green team beat the gold team 18-3, and takeaways include that Gary Bohannon might just win the Heisman unless Apu Ika beats him to it. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day. Payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
It was broad daylight. I stepped into a gas station for 5 minutes to grab a snack, and just like that, my car was broken into. They made out like a bandit. My laptop, my phone, everything. I called my agent to see what could be done, and he restored my faith in humanity. My claim was processed so quickly, and I was able to recover my losses.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Listen, in the past couple of years, we've had a lot of people moving in from out of state to Waco thanks to Chipper and JoJo. And while we welcome these new citizens, they unfortunately brought some of their bad habits with them. Hi, Jay here from Pickup Outfitters, and you know what I'm talking about. Naked trucks. You'd think everyone moved here from McNewtville. But we shouldn't judge them, we should help them. For example, when you see a recent transplant truck from a less civilized state like California, instead of saying, "Your truck is disgusting, your bed is exposed, get a bed cover on that truck, buddy," that's a bit harsh. Instead, try something like, in Texas, it's not polite to drive around with your bed exposed. Maybe you should check out the excellent selection of bed covers at Pickup Outfitters. And then if they refuse, you can say, "Well, I hear New Mexico's a nice state." Let's help our new neighbors and let them know that truck nudity is not okay. Let them know about Pickup Outfitters of Waco and send them to our website, createacommotion.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Cynthia, Jesus died for our Cynthias.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Monday, everybody. There's stuff going on across the board. Acrobatics and tumbling just won a national championship. Men's tennis in the Big 12 championship today. But we can't talk about it because the biggest news that is news is Kim Mulkey leading Baylor for LSU, jumping ship to go home and be a Lady Tiger. I'll tell you, if you follow me on Twitter, you will know that I got in quite the kerfuffle over the weekend with a podcast, One Team, One Podcast, and I got old takes exposed because I was wrong. And my sources who I am very disappointed in, told me that Kim Mulkey was staying, and well, it looks like I guess maybe they weren't exactly correct. So, in true honor, as to be a good sportsman, we now are joined by Matt Anderson of One Team, One Podcast, who was the source of the back and forth over the weekend. Matt, thanks for coming on today, and I'm sure you guys in Tiger Nation are excited to have our women's basketball coach in Baton Rouge.
Absolutely, man. So, and I don't think I've ever seen somebody do an old takes exposed. They're trying to get somebody else exposed, and then they get exposed. It was a classic 360, right?
It was the classic 360. It was. It all came full circle when I didn't even know how it happened, but it did. And I'll tell you, well, thanks for the banter first and foremost. And again, you mentioned you called this. You said, hey, my sources have told me, this was, I think, Thursday, that, hey, come Friday, come this weekend, Kim Mulkey will be announced as the head coach of Louisiana State University. I don't want to put you in a tough spot here, but what did you know? When did you know it? How did you know it? And how did this happen?
So I was hearing, I had two people that were telling me the same thing, which ended up confirming that for me. But we had heard early that week, actually, another show that I'm kind of partners with, which is Jordy Collada's show. They had mentioned they actually had Kim Mulkey on their show, and he straight up just asked, hey, the job has just now come open. What would you think? And that, I think, got I don't know if she maybe was contacted before that, but I think I had heard that on Thursday that this was pretty much wrapped up. The only thing that we were waiting on at that point was the Fargus contract to be done with. They hadn't announced that it was actually an open job yet. And as a public university, we're going to have to announce that it's actually an open job before we can take somebody on. So they were waiting on something to go through, and I never got the particulars of what that was, but she was taking a job with the WNBA. We needed that process to go through. And so I think LSU wanted it to be done on Friday because they didn't want to get to the spring game. And I'm sure Kim Mulkey didn't want that to happen either. They didn't want to get to the spring game where they're going to have to take her off of I think she was a play caller for the spring game. They didn't want her to have to go through that option. So they were trying to get this done on Friday, but it went through the weekend. And then we had heard Monday. So actually this happened yesterday, which it all went through. But yeah, this is such a big thing for LSU, huge for LSU. And it's not, and we kind of talked about this, it's women's basketball. For us, it's a non-revenue sport for us, but we needed a splash like this, especially with PR. I mean, it's a home run for LSU right now. And we've been kind of going through it for this past year. There's been nothing but negatives, and this is kind of like the first positive. And that's why you're probably seeing all the fans just kind of jumping on board with this. And they jumped on you, I believe.
Hey, a little bit. And I look, I can take it. We were talking about earlier. I'm from Arkansas. Grew up an Arkansas fan and somebody that enjoys the old Twitter banter when it comes about, as it has in the last couple of weeks, or over the last couple of days, I should say. Matt, with Kim Mulkey, one of the things, it's her personality. She's a spitfire. I think we can, that in every sense of the word, some folks have thrown out the word diva. She's got a big personality, and you can see it in the way she dresses for game day, throws the jacket, some of her comments in the post-game press conferences. She's always in the media for something different, whether it be good or bad. Does that fit the LSU culture, her spitfire, just never know what she's going to say attitude?
Absolutely. I mean, we have Ed Ogeron as our head football coach. There's a video of both of them going back and forth with each other just now in front of the coaches' offices. Will Wade is a brash young coach. There's plenty of people that hate him because of that. He's out in the open. And he should be. Like, everybody's playing by the same set of rules, and so LSU fans gravitate towards that. We gravitate towards a Louisiana person as well. So the Ed Ogeron love affair in Louisiana is true. And my dad has told me plenty of stories about Kim Mulkey in high school, growing up watching Kim Mulkey play for Louisiana Tech. And it was just always one of those things like, why isn't she here? Why is Kim Mulkey not here? We blew our chance. That was right after Pokey Chapman. We hired Van Chancellor to come in and kind of pick up the pieces that Pokey Chapman kind of left. I mean, if you remember, we went to 5 straight Final Fours in the mid-2000s. So we were dominant program. And it's always been one of those things where it's like, man, this could have been so much better. And this is why it's taken way too long to get her here, but she's finally here now. Yeah, she'll fit in perfectly in Louisiana.
Matt, on top of that, we've had people speculate, and I've speculated it too, and that's Kim Mulkey's personality and wanting to be. Kim was the biggest show in town in Waco for 20 years. She was the innovator of Baylor athletics that put the school on the national scene quicker, faster, bigger than any coach had done in the past. And now she's going to a school in the SEC that values football, has a championship just a couple of years ago. Will Wade and men's basketball is making splashes. Will she ever be a staple, a queen of Baton Rouge and LSU and get the attention that she got at Baylor?
I think she can be now. We're a football school. I mean, period. End of story. Basketball, you can tell with men's basketball. If men's basketball isn't really, really good, you're not going to sell it out. Now, I can tell you there is a different side of it, which is women's sports at LSU. They have a different crowd. Gymnastics, our LSU gymnastics will sell out the PMAC. So I'm assuming you're going to see a lot of those same fans that are going to gravitate towards the women's sports. Women's softball is another one which they sell out the arena there. So like I think it's a different crowd. There's a lot of football fans they'll chime in. I call them the Facebook fans. There's Facebook fans and then there's Twitter fans. Those are two different people.
Oh.
The Facebook fans are the old curmudgeons. They're like, nah, football only. I don't care about women's sports, blah, blah, blah. Then there's other people that are actually a little bit more understanding of what this means for the university, especially when you're going through Title IX issues right now. Like what a better PR hit right now than to hire the best women's basketball coach in the country.
Matt, this question I'll put candidly. Kramer's mom. We've gotten that tweet, that comment that this isn't a higher
another music video. I just made another music video.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm so interested in your response because you've got two up now. So many people have said to us, whether they be LSU fans on our feed this morning or also Baylor fans, she will never be Kim Mulkey. She will always be Kramer's mom. When you hear that, what do you think?
I think it's a joke. I mean, I think Kramer Robertson he was a good baseball player here, and we'll always remember that. But I think it was just an ongoing joke because of how much attention like ESPN and places like that would just put on Kim Mulkey over and over and over. And it's just a tired joke that's going on. She's bigger than life. She's bigger than Kramer Robertson. People outside of Baton Rouge don't even know who Kramer Robertson is, but it's just such an inside joke here that, she has no problem with that. She's always going to be the top dog.
Matt, Kim Mulkey, they've now announced, will have the press conference at 5 p.m. Central Time tonight where she'll be officially introduced as the head coach to the media, to the public at Louisiana State University. What does she need to say when she goes on stage tonight at LSU, walking into a program that's been decently successful, and she is supposed to be the one that takes them home to a national championship? What does Kim Mulkey have to say at that podium this evening?
I think it's just that. I think she just I've heard her speak many a times, and I love how candid she is. And it's it's actually refreshing. It's like the Coach O speak, where he's just going to tell you the way it is. Yeah, I want her just to tell us that she's going to come in and really not just. I want to know from the fans' perspective what this is actually going to mean for not just women's basketball, but also the men's program, facilities, things like that. I think that if anybody should be really, really happy today, even though that she's probably making the same salary that Will Wade is now, Will Wade should be ecstatic about this. Will Wade should want somebody that's going to come in, shake the money trees. From what we had heard, that's already kind of happening on the facilities side too. But for us to pay a coach $2 to $2.5 million for women's basketball, I think there's about to be a facilities upgrade for the PMAC as well. And honestly, the guy that's in charge of a lot of that money is Shaquille O'Neal. So that's one of the guys. So Shaquille O'Neal's son plays men's basketball currently for LSU. He had a daughter that retired from women's basketball at LSU, and he has a younger daughter that's probably about to come to LSU. He was involved in a lot of this. So the money was never going to be the issue here. For sure, because once you start tapping into a Shaquille O'Neal bank account, it's endless at that point.
Matt, I want to ask you this, and you mentioned kind of some of the contract details. Fully expect between 2 and 2.5. I'd be surprised if it's not 2.5, considering at Baylor she was making somewhere around 2.3, added all together almost 3. This right here, though, she talked about, it has been talked about, rumored, that this was a move for her that at the very forefront, the A1 part of this move for her was to go home. I disagree with that. What are your thoughts?
I've heard the same thing where some people were saying, well, her home is actually Hammond, which is, 30 minutes away from Baton Rouge. I think there was a little bit of that. Honestly, the only thing I could really think of that without talking to her is I think she always grew up loving LSU. And at the time when she was really good at basketball, LSU wasn't good at basketball. Louisiana Tech was the program. So she went to Louisiana Tech. I think there was always opportunities for her to go to LSU, but it was never the right time. And she actually spoke to that whenever she was talking to the Jordy Collada show last week was, timing is everything with changes like this. I think that she's always looked at an opportunity for that. And it was just never, either we didn't come calling or it wasn't the right time. Honestly, there was people here that had been calling to fire Nikki Fargas for a couple of years here and try to move on this earlier. And I think that's probably more than anything, maybe not home, but I think you go to Hammond, you go to New Orleans. What's the school you love? It's LSU. I mean, that's the beauty of LSU is that we're the only school in the state. And we can command all of the attention of all of the entire state rather than if you're in Texas, you got a million different schools you're trying to compete with.
Matt, Tulane Twitter is blowing up right now. I will tell you, Tulane Twitter has just exploded.
Is that a thing? Is Tulane Twitter a thing?
That's the thing is we've always, when we play Rice, I'm just waiting for someone to trash talk, and it just never happens. So I think Tulane's probably in that same verse. When people say Baylor, Matt, when you say Baylor, in a lot of respects, you think Kim Mulkey. They are synonymous, one and the other, symbiotic relationship. Will there ever?
Or Bryles.
Long gone. But when you say Baylor, you think Kim Mulkey after 2 decades here. Will there ever be a point where someone says LSU and Kim Mulkey's the first thing that comes to someone's mind?
No, never. I mean, it's LSU football runs the world here. It runs the local economy here. I mean, if it ever happened that way, I think it's actually a negative. Football is so bad. Baseball is so bad. Men's basketball is so bad that the only thing that we can talk about is women's basketball. That's going to be a really bad thing for our university. Now, if you wanted to say who's the top female leader in our university or top female leader in the athletics department, absolutely. Now, I hate to break it up with gender like that, but football just pays for everything else, basically.
So then with that, Matt, and this is very straightforward, and I don't want to step on any Baylor fans' toes. We've gotten this comment a lot, and folks want to know this question. I personally want to know and answer this question. We may never know. But, Matt, if this is an ego move, is Kim Mulkey in trouble?
In trouble how?
As in, she will never be the biggest show in town.
If it's an ego, honestly, here's something I was thinking about with this move. And this kind of answers your question. I think Scott Woodward has plans bigger than an athletic director at LSU. The president is actually open. And I don't think that this is the right time for anything like that, but I think he has eyes on being the LSU system president at some point in his career. I could actually see somebody like Kim Mulkey maybe retiring one day and moving up to an athletic director position. I could see that happening, and maybe this is the step to get to LSU, and then there's steps. I could even see that conversation probably have happened with Scott Woodward. I think there's a lot of talk probably in the future of what this means for Kim Mulkey, and not just being the head of the LSU women's basketball team, but maybe bigger at the university.
So there are a lot of Baylor folks who are looking for that closure in Kim Mulkey leaving, because I will say it, she built Baylor athletics. In my opinion, she's the first one to win at the level that she won and win a national championship at Baylor. Is there any closure or consolation that Baylor folks can rest easy with tonight in this move from the perspective of someone that covers LSU?
Well, I think the program is set in place for Baylor. I think I heard a little bit earlier what you guys were talking about and maybe different head coaching candidates. I think at this point you guys can pluck almost anybody you wanted in the country. I think it was Barnes from Arizona is like, I'm sure is somebody that you guys are going to be looking at. Somebody that can step right in, take the facilities, take everything that she's already built up and just keep running with it. It's similar to when Nick Saban left here at LSU and Les Miles came in. Les Miles was, in my opinion, a terrible coach. We were still fantastic for a good amount of time. We even won a national championship under Les Miles. So that's somebody that can actually just almost be a caretaker for the program, if not grow it even more. I think that's what you got to take out of that, is that where you were, where you started and where you ended. And now somebody else is going to be the next starting block. If it's a Barnes coming into a system that Mulkey's already created over 20 years, I think that's what you got to take out of that. Plus you already got Dave Aranda from LSU. You got Apu Ika from LSU. I mean, you got Meatball Johnson at LSU. How many more LSU people you want? I mean, it's time for us to get some a little bit, right?
Well, here's the deal. Coach O is going to have 2 more losing seasons in the next 2 years, and he's going to be our new offensive line coach. And you can take that to the bank because Eric Mateos is going to get a head coaching job. If that's all right with you, Matt.
Well, defense, I think you want him for a defensive line. Defensive line. Recruiter. Yeah, he's got to be the recruiter for sure.
I love it. Well, hey, Matt, thanks so much for joining the show today and coming on and giving us your thoughts on Kim Mulkey. I do want to give you a chance because you guys are doing a lot with the podcast. I know you're doing a lot actively in LSU media to plug some of your stuff coming up for those that are listening and may want to keep up with you or Kim Mulkey, or just some of your parting thoughts here.
Sure. Well, I mean, we do a weekly podcast. We're on all the audio platforms, obviously, but we're also on YouTube. One Team, One Podcast. We took it from the One Team, One Heartbeat. Obviously, we actually are starting One Team Media, so we're actually building some other local podcasts here. We have a lot of plans. We've only been doing this for a year, but we've been having a lot of. It was a COVID. We started during COVID. So it's one of those great things for COVID, but now it's become a thing. But yeah, we do a weekly show. We're having Durante Jones, the new defensive coordinator, on this coming week. We actually started we're bourbon drinkers. So I know I know it's a Baptist school, but still. We started the Durante Jones Bourbon Club. In honor of Durante Jones. He's a huge bourbon lover. I don't know if anybody knows that, but we've had him out a few times. We do old-fashioned reviews in town. We try to keep it a little bit fun. So not always sports with us. We like to chop it up a little bit and have some foolishness.
Perfect. Matt, thank you for coming on today, giving us some more perspective. I love the Twitter banner. I love that we were able to have you on today as well. The perspective that you gave was great. Thank you again.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. All right. Thanks so much.
Again, that was Matt Anderson joining the show today, talking Baylor, Kim Mulkey, the new hire, and what that's going to mean for Louisiana State University of One Team and One Podcast. When we come back, we're joined by acrobatics and tumbling athletes. That's right. Acro and tumbling won a national championship on Friday, and that is being overshadowed today by Kim Mulkey and the news. But I'll tell you, if you're a Baylor fan, you're excited about acro and tumbling winning a national championship this week. That was huge. They're 6th in a row. We'll be joined by Cam Bryant and Day Thompson of the acrobatics and tumbling team, 2 athletes who now have national championship rings. You don't want to miss this. If you support Baylor Athletics, you support acrobatics and tumbling, and you are proud of their national championship. We'll talk to them next to hear their thoughts, and then we'll talk to Tyler Thomas, starting pitcher for Baylor baseball. If you're listening on Facebook right now, go to YouTube, put it on your TV, go to the SicEm365 app, download the SicEm365 app, hit listen or watch, and you can watch the show as well. Find the best way to watch or listen for you. Put it on your desktop or your laptop. I'm Drake Toll. That's Armstrong Sims. When we come back, we're joined by 2 national champions. Don't let that be overshadowed today. This is Up Tempo.
Gone. Kim Mulkey's career as head coach of the Baylor Lady Bears is finished after 21 seasons, 23 conference championship trophies, 4 Final Fours, and 3 national championships. The legendary coach pulls her name out of the conversation with the game's greats such as Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt, and Muffet McGraw, who led championship programs up until retirement. For the first time in 21 years, Baylor is without a women's basketball coach. Mack Rhodes is now on the search to replace Mulkey as the transfer portal heats up. The Lady Bears attempt to retain both players currently on the roster and target freshmen. It's going to be a long week. In lighter and much better news, the Baylor baseball team shocked college baseball with a series victory at number 5 Texas Tech, the first home series loss for the Red Raiders since 2018, a team that came 20-2 in Lubbock this season. The Bears were dominant with a 26-8 run differential and an emphatic 13-3 victory in Sunday's rubber match. The softball team had a similar success with a series victory at previously ranked Iowa State in Ames, winning on both Friday and Sunday to secure the series. The team has now won 3 of 4, and coach Glenn Moore is 1 win away from 800 career wins. His team can afford him that mark against number 1 Oklahoma on Tuesday. And the men's tennis team has punched its ticket to the Big 12 championship match today against number 2 Texas in Waco to clinch both the regular season and tournament championship in conference. On the women's side, Baylor fell in the Big 12 title match against powerhouse Texas. The team will now await its postseason seeding. And the green team beat the gold team 18-3, and takeaways include that Gary Bohannon might just win the Heisman unless Apu Ika beats him to it. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
It's a name and a memory that called us back. It's a belief and a labor that will carry us forward. It's a time and experience that will make you return. The new Bear Ridge Golf Club, a space revitalized, a course restored, a new experience. For a tee time today, call the Pro Shop at 254-848-7800. Go to BearRidgeWaco.com, just south of Waco on Highway 84. Come join us at Bear Ridge Golf Club.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
No capes. Do you remember Thunderhead? Tall, storm powers. Nice man. Good with the kids.
Listen. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Dyna guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No capes.
Here's Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. I'm Drake Toll alongside Armstrong Sims. Happy Monday, everybody. There's big news across college athletics today. I'll tell you this, Armstrong, have you ever won a national championship? And he's shaking his head no. He's never won a national championship. I, too, have never won a national championship. Imagine winning 6 of them at the same school. That's what Coach Mulkey has done. Coach Felicia Mulkey, 6 straight national championships at the helm of Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling. She is someone who has carried this sport and helped build the sport into what it is. And today we're joined by 2 national champions, Cam Bryant and Day Thompson. Both of you, thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having us. Yes, thank you for having us.
Excited to have you guys. I mean, looking at this, 6 straight national championships is huge. And I don't want, for those that are listening, I don't want the fact of other news to overshadow what you guys have done over the course of this season, what you did in the COVID year to win this national championship. It deserves as much publicity and plug as possible. And Cam, I'll start with you. Cam, you won a national championship on Friday. Yes. How does it feel to hear those words again?
It feels incredible. I'm still on cloud 9 right now. I have yet to take off my hat. Literally wore it since Friday, since I got it. I haven't taken it off since. I sleep in this.
And Day, same question for you. You are a national champion. You hear those words, you hear them again, especially in a year like this. What does that mean to you?
It means the absolute most to me. Like, I'm just blessed and just honored to even have this opportunity to be a part of this team and be able to be coached by these coaches. It's really a great opportunity.
Cam, going back to you, I know a lot was to be decided out of that senior season. I mean, you had COVID that pauses your year, and a lot of athletes had no idea what they would do moving forward past that. When you got the news that Baylor and the NCATA would allow athletes to come back for another year, what was that mental battle that you struggled with on the decision you had to make?
A lot of conversations with my coaches and my family, deciding if this was the right decision for me to come back, because I was just coming off of an injury my senior season. So to see if I was going to be ready to even come back for this season, if the season was even going to happen. So there's a lot of back and forth conversation, a lot of tears, but I would say I made the right decision in coming back, and I'm just blessed to be here. Thank you to Coach Fee, my family, and everybody for supporting me throughout this.
Day, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. She's sitting right next to you, an athlete that made the decision, a selfless decision to come back to the program and compete for a national championship. What does it mean to have a player like Cam come back to the program when so many didn't have to?
It means the absolute world, because honestly, I don't think we would have got through this season without her. She's a really big part of our team, and she's literally like the heart and soul of us. So having her come back this year just made it 10 times better, and I just loved every single second of it.
Cam, I'm going to toss it back over to you, because you've got Day sitting to your left right now, someone who's competed in multiple national championships now, and even as a freshman was a big part of why Baylor won a national championship in 2018. Does this team get where it got this season without Day Thompson?
Not at all. She is the backbone of this team. Her leadership skills on this team this year and in years past have been phenomenal. I couldn't have done it without her. This my girl right here.
Someone has just commented and said the champs are here. Way to go, acrobatics and tumbling. And I know that is something that a lot of folks are happy to see, proud to see, as you guys have won yet another. Day, for you on that end of things, you go through the COVID year. Last year was cut short. When you heard, hey, due to COVID, the season is over, what do you remember about that and your immediate reaction to learning that you wouldn't compete again in the 2020 season?
It was rough to hear all of that, like, because we were doing good. We were having a great season, and just to have that all taken away from us like so soon, it was just like, wait, is this for real? Like, I need like 4 more confirmations before like I know for sure like this is over with. Like, so it was really rough. So like having to pack up everything and like go back home, and so it was not easy at all. It was definitely devastating.
Cam, I know we got your perspective on the decision to come back and kind of what was going through your mind, but I want to know, you weren't able to compete due to injury. And so you're out, you're injured, can't compete, and then you find out your senior season is done, that you can't play again. When you got that news, were you emotional at all?
I was very emotional because I already had in my mind and in my trainer's mind, I was going back and forth with my trainers and coaches. I was set to possibly come back and compete in the national championship, in my opinion, last year. And then it got cut short. So I was like, how are we going to do this? How is this going to end? It just felt like there was no closure to it after it. Wow. So I'm glad that I was able to come back and get that closure that I was looking for, and to be on this team, this program with these coaches is the best time of my life.
Cam, you were fully expecting too, I'm sure, to end last season, your senior season, in the national championship meet, compete, win it, and then start your life. I mean, seniors graduate, they move on. They've got jobs set up. They're ready to go. I mean, you'd already done your 4 years. You're ready to rock. You had to put life on hold for a year to come back and win a national championship. A, how did that affect you, and how has that affected you? B, was it worth it?
I think it was definitely worth it because I am actually in a graduate program right now. So I'm actually working on my master's in sport pedagogy. And after this, I'm going to get my master's, and then I'm going into coaching for acrobatics and tumbling. So, I mean, I'm happy either way.
Speaking of coaching, Day, Felicia Mulkey is the greatest to ever do it in her sport. And she's now got 10 national championships. We had her on the show last week. I asked her if she was going to fit that 10th one for her thumb. I mean, she at this point, you just got a full 2 hands of bling for Felicia Mulkey. What is it like to play under a legend?
Like, I don't even have words. Like, I am so happy and honored that, like, I had even the opportunity to choose her to be my coach. She cares about us on and off the mat. She cares about us just as being women in our everyday lives. So she's taught me so much more, like, just not acrobatics tumbling, but like how to carry myself, how to like be a woman, how to be accountable. So just to be able to be coached by her and just have her in my presence and just be like, hey, like, I have a relationship with this woman. Like, it's something like that I will always honor, always cherish, and always be very proud of.
Cam, for you, Felicia Mulkey is not just a legendary coach. She's an innovator in the sport. And you talked about wanting to be a coach yourself in acrobatics and tumbling, and it's a growing sport that needs more coaches, more athletes, more publicity. To play not just for a legend, but to play for someone who is an innovator, a creator in your sport, what does that mean to you?
It means the world to me. I really look up to her in everything that I do, in and out of acrobatics and tumbling. And I'm just excited for this opportunity to even use her like coaching techniques and all that stuff, and try and make it into a little bit of my own.
Dave, for you, with this program that you've been a part of since 2018, a championship year that year as well, Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling's won 6 straight. That is the most national championships of any school in the country, and it's just been a run of dominance under Felicia Mulkey. Day, what makes Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling so dominant in this sport?
For us, I feel like, yes, we are a very talented team, but like it goes farther before that. Like the structure, the philosophy of the team, the foundation of the team, like that's where it starts right there. Like right there, that's where it starts for us. And I feel like us being able to build off that foundation every single year and just adding another brick to it, that's what makes the team what it is.
Cam, the standard of Baylor Acrobatics and Tumbling is to win and win at a high level, and you guys do it so well. We've talked about, Alabama, Nick Saban. He hasn't won 6 national championships in consecutive years. There are dynasties that are built, standards that are set. What puts Baylor in a place to be so good and set a standard of winning national championships?
Felicia Mulkey. That's the answer. The GOAT, Felicia Mulkey. She started it all, and she just set the tone from day one.
when it comes to the national championship meet day, it was weird. It was a different year. Azusa Pacific's the 1 seed. It's not Baylor. It's not Oregon. No one's used to seeing that. It's supposed to be Baylor and Oregon, but you guys had to face the Ducks in round 1. Day, what was it like going against who I would say, maybe you agree, the toughest rival in the sport?
It was very different for us to have to go against them day one. And, it wasn't something that I feel like anyone kind of would have predicted or would have saw going into it. So going against them, we knew hey, we got to get through Thursday before we can get through Friday. We got to think about this. We got to think about Thursday. We can't just go in thinking about Friday. So having to go against them, we knew we had to give it our all. We can't let up on them just because they're a really good team too.
Cam, for you, what was the message? You go into a match against Oregon for the 3rd time this year, competing against them for the second straight meet, and they are one of the best teams in the country as well. Always a tough foe for you guys. What was the mindset, the message going into the meet against the Lady Ducks?
The mentally toughest team is always going to win. We were mentally prepared to go into that meet. We're not worried about we don't worry about them. We worry about ourselves. As long as we can execute and do what we need to do, that's it. That's all I got to say.
Day, you go through the mental roller coaster as an athlete of competing in the national semifinal. Next thing you know, you're in the championship the next day. Basketball doesn't do it. Football doesn't do it. These programs have days or weeks to prepare mentally for a championship. Whereas you, the emotional roller coaster winning a semifinal, have to compete in a championship the next day. How do you reset for the biggest meet of the season in just a 24-hour span?
Basically for us, after that semifinals, we all went back to the hotel and we all relaxed and we all chilled. And throughout the day, we all relaxed. We all chilled on Friday too. And we just woke up and hey, we're not going to think about the meet till we get there. We're not going to sit there and let ourselves get all anxious and hyped up about it at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to get all hyped up about it when it's time at 7 p.m. So that's just how we did it.
Cam, for you competing on Friday in that national championship meet, knowing that it's really your last shot to go out there and be a Baylor Lady Bear on the floor and help win a championship, could you sleep on Thursday night?
Oh, I slept like a baby on Thursday night because we gave it all on Thursday, and that's all we had to do was finish the job on Friday. So I slept very nice, knowing going into Friday that we had it.
I love it. That's the confidence, but the not cocky confidence, just the pride and the confidence you have in your team because of what they can do and their talent. Day, for you, national championship meet, you go into it. And this is a question I want to give you too, Cam, just right after. Day, facing Azusa Pacific, that's a team that, while they've been very good in the sport, it's new. You can see the sport growing in the fact that Azusa was the 1 seed this year. That's different. That's new. And it means there's growth there. What was it like playing an opponent like Azusa in the national championship that you may not have expected to going into the season?
It was very, very different playing them because I think with all my 4 years of being here, I may have only played them one other time. So other than that, this is my first time seeing them in the national championship. But playing against them, we just knew that we had to still be good. We still had to be have our guards up and everything because they're still a good team. And we're happy, excited to see other teams that make it into the championship and whatever rank that they are, because, we are growing. But it was very different. But I don't think at one point we ever let up on them. We like to be pushed. We like to be pushed. It's good for the sport. It's good for everybody to see new teams into the championship and into the whole championship round. So it was good to see them. They were real tough competitors, and I love the competition. And yeah.
Cam, now as you have that coach's mindset, looking at the sport as an innovator and someone that's right there along with Coach Felicia Mulkey trying to grow this sport, when you see a team like Azusa Pacific in the national championship, does that show you the sport is growing? Does that give you confidence the sport will continue to grow? And is that something you're proud of as someone who wants to coach in this sport?
Yes, it's so good to see new teams in the national championship. And that gets me excited about me possibly having my team possibly making it to the national championship. And then seeing Coach P. That'd be awesome. Competing against Coach P. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Day, for you, I'll start this with you, and then Cam, I'll move to you as well and kind of change the question a little bit, alter it a little bit. But Day, being a senior, being on the floor this year, winning a national championship, what is the legacy of Baylor acrobatics and tumbling as it sits right now?
The legacy of Baylor acrobatics tumbling is that you have a team full of genuine women inside and outside of the sport. They're very talented. They're very mentally strong. And every single year they're going to give it their all. It's a team that has a very good foundation and has an even better coach.
Yeah. Cam, for you, it's the same question, phrased a little bit differently because you have a different perspective as someone that made the decision to stay within the legacy and help continue to solidify the legacy by returning for another year and using that last year of eligibility. For you, the legacy of this program that you were so selfless to come back to, what is it when you hear Baylor acrobatics and tumbling? What is it that legacy is?
Family. I love this team. I love these coaches. I love everybody who backs us. I love Baylor University. This program is something that I've never been a part of, and I'm so honored and blessed to even been able to be here, be a part of this team.
Day, I know there are a lot of programs, last couple questions for you guys. I know there's a lot of programs in the country that are national championship caliber, that players come in for their 4 years, they compete, win some championships, leave, and regret it all because they never had family, they never had culture. All they have to show for it is rings. For you, do you plan to come back? I mean, is this something that's going to sustain you for the rest of your life and you'll always be a Lady Bear? Or has this been a 4 years that, well, you got it done, you got the job done, you got the rings to show for it, but it was fun while it lasted and it's gone?
No, I'm definitely coming back. Right when he won, I actually hugged Coach B, and I was like, hey, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm definitely coming back here one day because this is definitely a place where Baylor is your home. You come here and all the traditions, it's a family. Everyone supports you inside and outside the sport, whether it's academics or your everyday life. Like, this is a home and you're always going to be a part of it. So I'm definitely coming back. I'm definitely coming back to visit. So
Cam, for you, a little bit different of a question here. I think this is so intriguing. You talked about family. There are a lot of, again, programs in sports across the country where teams are not family. They're simply teams. What is it? You can't create, mold a family atmosphere on your own. There's no way to just make it automatic and solidify, like, hey, we're going to be family. How did this family come about? How did this family build?
The first day I got here and was on the team and everything, I got injured, and I thought that this was going to be it for me. I didn't know if I was going to make it anymore, but the whole team, the whole program, everybody invested in acrobatics and tumbling, wrapped their arms around me and showed me, this is where you want to be, this is where I want to be. And that love is what I needed in that moment. And that's what's kept me here this whole time. I'm not ready to leave. If my body would allow me to stay, I would be here forever. I love this program, this team, Baylor University.
Day, for you now, coming off of a national championship, last question. When you think about the crowd, the atmosphere, everything about Baylor and how they've supported acrobatics and tumbling, because there are a lot of schools in this country that have not taken the chance on having an acrobatics and tumbling team. What does it mean to you to see the support this team has across the board from Baylor University and its fan base?
It means the absolute world to me to see all the support that we have. Like I said, there's so much support that goes around inside and outside the sport, whether it's academics or everyday life. Baylor just does it better in every aspect that we have. And Baylor is just definitely one of the best places to be.
Same question for you, Cam, but again, just a little bit different. As someone that wants to coach in the sport as you see it grow, what is your message for other schools that are thinking about adding acrobatics and tumbling teams to compete?
It all starts with the foundation. Family, you have to build on something. Start with the ground level and just show your student athletes love and support that they're searching for, coming from high school, coming into something new. You have to show them that love and support and show that you want them to be there and just wrap your arms around them.
I love it. Cam, Day, thank you both so much for coming on the show today, giving us your perspective as national champions, wearing the hats, as I'm sure you'll do for the next week or two. Congratulations, and I'm so glad we got to get your perspective because it's great to see the 6th one come home to Baylor.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
It's a nice little Coach P bobblehead at the bottom there.
Yeah. I thought they'd notice. I love it. Thank you guys again so much for joining the show today. Pleasure to have both of them on. Cam and Day joining the show. What, the Zoom drop? Sorry. Cam and Day both joining the show and giving us their perspective for Baylor acrobatics and tumbling and winning a national championship. Again, there are some things that have taken place across today that, have overshadowed a big weekend in Baylor sports. And I want to give some plug to that because we've got Tyler Thomas that joins the show at 1:05 today as well from Baylor baseball. He's a starting pitcher for the baseball program. There is a lot that took place this weekend, and while we will get back to the Kim Mulkey conversation, we're going to reopen the phone lines and talk more Kim Mulkey at 1:30 today. So for those of you that are solely looking for Kim Mulkey content, we're going to get to that. We're going to continue to cover Kim Mulkey and what's going on with that situation. Do note, though, the Baylor baseball program knocked off Texas Tech in Lubbock. 26-8. Was the combined score of that one. They had Tech on the ropes in the 8th inning in Game 2, looking for a possibility of a sweep, and Baylor wasn't quite able to close that one out. However, Baylor baseball on the come-up. They are the first team to beat Texas Tech, win a series at Texas Tech since 2018. Tech was previously 20-2 at home this season. Baylor now improves to 26-13 overall. They are at a 7-8 mark in conference. The first score against Texas Tech over the weekend, guys, 12-4 against Tech's ace. Baylor won in Lubbock 12-4. Game 2, Micah Dallas shut down the Baylor Bears. And Baylor wasn't quite able to come back late. It was 1-1 in the 8th inning when Tech had the bases loaded, 2 outs, and they were able to get a big single that scored a few runs. And that was a 4-1 final that Tech won, the number 5 team in the country. And then Baylor came back to win on day 3, the rubber match on Sunday, 13-3, the final score in that one, 13-3. 12-4 Friday, 13-3 Sunday. Absolute dominance over the top 5 team in the country. They come back to Waco, the baseball team does, to play Prairie View A&M Tuesday at 6:30. Then they've got Kansas State this weekend in Waco. That's the 7th, 8th, and 9th at 6:30, 3 p.m., and 1 p.m. taking on the Wildcats. A sweep for Baylor baseball against Kansas State would make them 10-8 overall this season in Big 12 play. 29-13 overall. They're now 31 in the country in RPI. This is the same team that lost 2 out of 3 against UT Rio Grande Valley in their first series of the season, gave up an 8-0 lead in the second game of that series against UT RGV, and now they're 31 in the country in RPI. The Baylor baseball program is on the come up, and they are continuing to rise in RPI, and will be making the postseason tournament now if they're able to hold steady where they are in the Big 12. Tell you, it's basically a 4-team race right now in Big 12 baseball with the standings. You've got Baylor that currently sits at, like we talked about, 7-8. And looking at the other rankings here, I mean, it is really Texas at 12-3, TCU at 12-3, Texas Tech 8-7, Baylor 7-8, and then you get to Oklahoma State, who is 7-8 as well. So 5-team race after that. Kansas State 6-9, West Virginia 6-9, Oklahoma 4-8, Kansas 4-11. I don't foresee those teams being able to crawl out of a very, very tough conference, but Baylor's on the come up. Coach Steve Rodriguez is leading a team that is now hot. On the softball side, Baylor was able to defeat Iowa State in Game 1 of their series on Friday. They fell on Saturday, won the rubber match on Sunday, though, taking a series in Ames, a formerly top 25 ranked program. Iowa State, very good team this season in Ames. Baylor was able to win the series there. The softball team, after being swept by BYU and Oklahoma State, they lost 7 straight. They've now won 3 out of their last 4. Glenn Moore and company on the rise as well. Across the way in women's tennis, the Baylor women's tennis program competed in the Big 12 championship against Texas on Saturday. Very good Texas team that Baylor's lost to 3 times, now make it 4. They fell in the Big 12 championship. However, they will likely compete and host postseason play, the opening rounds of postseason play in Waco at the Herd Tennis Center. On the men's side, the same thing. It was 3-3. Baylor lost the doubles point against TCU. It was 3-3 with Furman, the last man standing for Baylor in a 5-5 match. He needed a big win, and he got it. Baylor knocked off TCU to head to the Big 12 championship today at 2 p.m. Baylor in the championship against Texas at 2 p.m. Baylor UT in both men's and women's tennis in the championships. I want to get to a couple of these comments on the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line that are talking about. This says Armstrong making me laugh. I needed that for the Armstrong's Minute. There's Ryan from Irving says, what do you think of Coach Tang taking over the women's program? I think that should be fired into the sun. I think that should be absolutely fired into the sun, period. Coach Tang, who has a very good possibility of being a big-time coach in men's basketball, why would he make the transfer over? Why would he make the transfer over into a new game when it comes to recruiting, a new game when it comes to the transfer portal, a game he's not familiar with? Men's and women's basketball is very different. I don't think that is going to happen. And what is his recruiting pedigree on the women's side? He doesn't know any of the coaches very well. He's not very well interconnected with them like a couple of the coaches on the current Baylor staff, like a Bill Brock would be if Bill stays, although I think that's almost a lost cause. He also says coaches leave programs. That's how it works. Mulkey was at Baylor 21 years. That doesn't happen at a lot of places. Ask the people down in Austin. And if Drew and the men's team make another deep run next year, he might become a hard coach to keep in Waco. Scott Drew. If you have a strong AD, then coaches leaving doesn't hurt as bad, who I think Mack Rhodes is that strong AD. Baylor has that. Says Ryan from Irving. Let's move on. How about the baseball team, as we've been talking about? So men's, women's tennis, baseball, acrobatics, and tumbling with a national championship on Friday. And like we talked about earlier, press conference has been announced for Kim Mulkey. 5 p.m. tonight, she will address the media in Baton Rouge and talk about why she made the decision to go from Baylor to LSU. We'll talk about that more again at 1:30 as J.D. Pickell joins the show for the Blonde Boys. For the Blonde Boys Power Hour. When we come back from this break, Tyler Thomas has been a staple for Baylor baseball. He got the win as a starter 12-4 on Friday night over Texas Tech, the number 5 team in the country with a lot of offensive momentum. T-Tom shut him down. He's going to come on to the show, talk to us about it, and about how he and the Baylor baseball team left their mark in Lubbock as the first team to win a series up in that part of North Texas since 2018, as Baylor is now 31 in the country in RPI. Tyler Thomas, starting pitcher of Baylor baseball, joins the show after this. Don't go anywhere. We got Tyler Thomas coming up. After that, we talk some more Kim Mulkey action. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims. J.D. Pickell joins the show up next. Don't go anywhere. This is Up Tempo.
Gone. Kim Mulkey's career as head coach of the Baylor Lady Bears is finished after 21 seasons, 23 conference championship trophies, 4 Final Fours, and 3 national championships. The legendary coach pulls her name out of the conversation with the game's greats such as Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt, and Muffet McGraw, who led championship programs up until retirement. For the first time in 21 years, Baylor is without a women's basketball coach. Mack Rhodes is now on the search to replace Mulkey as the transfer portal heats up, and the Lady Bears attempt to retain both players currently on the roster and target freshmen. It's going to be a long week. In lighter and much better news, the Baylor baseball team shocked college baseball with a series victory at number 5 Texas Tech, the first home series loss for the Red Raiders since 2018, a team that came 20-2 in Lubbock this season. The Bears were dominant with a 26-8 run differential and an emphatic 13-3 victory in Sunday's rubber match. The softball team had a similar success with a series victory at previously ranked Iowa State in Ames, winning on both Friday and Sunday to secure the series. The team has now won 3 of 4, and coach Glenn Moore is 1 win away from 800 career wins. His team can afford him that mark against number 1 Oklahoma on Tuesday. And the men's tennis team has punched its ticket to the Big 12 championship match today against number 2 Texas in Waco to clinch both the regular season and tournament championship in conference. On the women's side, Baylor fell in the Big 12 title match against powerhouse Texas. The team will now await its postseason seeding. And the green team beat the gold team 18-3, and takeaways include that Gary Bohannon might just win the Heisman unless Apu Ika beats him to it. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
How can we help you? That's a question we ask every day at American Bank. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Our commitment to our customers is what drives us. It's why we've invested in new branch buildings and technology like ITMs that let you speak to a teller face-to-face from your car. It's why we work with local businesses, helping Waco grow and thrive. And it's why decisions about your accounts and loans are made here in Waco by people who know you. How can we help you? Find out at American Bank, member FDIC.
Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Board Certified Personal Injury Trial Lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recalled drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com, principal office in Houston, Texas.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Ram Truck Month means special pricing on the new 2021 Ram trucks at Allen Samuels. The three-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab, has special values up to $5,500 or 0% for 84 months. Allen Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco, Central Texas' new Ram commercial truck headquarters with 3,500 and 5,500 chassis cabs and other great work trucks. Visit Allen Samuels today. It's Ram Truck Month.
Come by. Let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Sit down, Bob. I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. Pickell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Monday, everybody. Needed a little pick-me-up today.
You bodied that.
Needed a little pick-me-up today.
Came out of the break and killed that.
Come on, we had to.
There's been a murder on Elm Avenue.
There's been a murder. 101 Elm Avenue, to be exact.
Yeah.
The mothership. Big weekend in Baylor sports. We can't let the Kim Mulkey news overshadow the fact that Baylor had maybe, I would say it's a top 5 weekend in sports this season so far, across the board. With the way that Acro won a national championship, Baylor softball won on the road at Iowa State, got a series dub. Both tennis teams playing in the Big 12 championship, and the baseball team did what the unthinkable from any expert's opinion. I mean, if you ask them, you say, hey, what's going to happen between Baylor and Texas Tech this weekend? Everybody. Texas Tech number 5 in the country. There's no way they don't keep on rolling. And I tell you what, the Bears put a stop to that train. Big thanks to Tyler Thomas, T-Tom, that started things off, and he joins the show now. Tyler, thanks for joining us today on Up Tempo.
Thank you for having me. I got to say, I love the intro.
Thanks, Tyler. We like to put a little flair into it, without a doubt. And so I tell you, Tyler, speaking of flair, you go out there, you shut Tech down in the first inning, and it's okay. Hey, you got to keep their offense at bay because Texas Tech can score really, really well. Although their pitching staff has been hurt throughout this year, they're going to be able to put up runs, and they need to rely on that. You go out there and deal, and next thing you know, you got a 6 spot in the second inning. I mean, you're working now with a 6-0 lead. That's got to take some pressure off of you.
It honestly makes it extremely easy. It's a bittersweet moment too. When your hitter scores 6 runs in 1 inning, you sit down for a long time, and it makes it tough. But the confidence you have when you go back on that mound is impeccable.
I mean, coming into that series, there was a lot of talk about Baylor's chances against Texas Tech. I mean, everybody outside of Waco was thinking maybe y'all were in for some trouble. What was the mindset going in? Was there just a chip on the shoulder, underdog mentality? Walk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just straight confidence from everyone on the team. I mean, I saw a stat yesterday right after we won. We're the first team to take a series at Tech since 2018, and that's unreal. Wow. I'm not sure we really expected it. We were going in. We were going to do everything we could. We were going to fight to the death, really, and we did it.
Tyler, you are the first baseball player, one of on this team, the first baseball player since 2010 in a Baylor uniform to win a series at Texas Tech. Is that just mind-boggling?
That's crazy to me, especially knowing the talent that's come through before me.
Max Muncy.
Yeah.
Max Muncy played at Baylor.
There we go. There you go.
Yeah, Max Muncy played at Baylor.
True story. And then, I mean, Texas Tech, at the time, number 5 team in the country. What kind of confidence does it give y'all going forward into the rest of your schedule?
I mean, now we're ready to be ranked. We're ready to host. We're ready to do it all. We're going to the World Series. We're going to Omaha.
Let's go.
Wow, inject that in my veins.
Let's
go. Tyler, you guys were facing, the hitters at least, facing Patrick Montverde, who is one of the best pitchers in the Big 12. He's really kind of come up as Texas Tech's guy. He's had to, considering their injuries. He went 7-2 with a 1.96 ERA last season, and I mean he's been dealing this year as well. When you think about a guy like Montverde that they were looking to help shut things down, were you expecting this pitcher's duel, where you had to go out there and really deal against one of their best?
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting a duel at all. I thought our hitters were going to do phenomenal against him. Our setup, our lineup is really engineered to perform against a pitcher like him, and I knew we were going to dominate that day.
And was that just against the entire Texas Tech bullpen? Because there was 2 separate games where y'all put up double-digit runs. I mean, there was no fluke. There was no fluke at all in this series. There's nothing to point to where you can say, "Wow, maybe if Baylor, catches them in a different circumstance." I mean, y'all took care of business. Is it just the way that y'all matched up against their entire bullpen, or what was it that gave you so much confidence against their pitching staff?
It's probably a little bit of both, the matchup and the confidence of already getting hits in the beginning of the game. I mean, when you go up to the plate and you're 2 for 2 already as a hitter, you're relaxed. You're like, okay, I'm going to let my hands work, do the job, and get a base hit up the middle again.
Along with that, Tyler, you got that game 1 victory under your belt. You guys take it. Next thing you know, you go out and it's 1-1. I mean, it was a pitcher's duel on Saturday, and Dallas for Texas Tech's dealing. They take him out. Sublette comes in. He's pitching well, and then right there at the very end, Tech scores 3 in the 8th to take game 2 of the series and force the rubber match on Sunday. Was there any wind out of the sails at that point when you guys dropped Saturday's game? What was the mentality after that one?
I think it made us want to compete harder. Hayden Keller did a phenomenal job on Saturday, competed his butt off, worked extremely hard for the team. And I think everybody had a sense of wanting to reward him for that. And we were going to come back out and redeem that.
In a lot of ways, Tyler, this felt like a statement game or a statement series. Is that something you would agree with? Or it's like, hey, we've been here this whole time. Y'all are just now starting to take note.
Most definitely. I mean, we were preseason ranked to be 8th in the Big 12 this year. And I mean, we just take it as let the media talk. We're going to show them what we can do. We know what we can do.
Tyler, we're talking heads.
Yeah,
See, we will talk, but for good things about Baylor baseball. Along with that, Tyler, I want to take you back, and I'm sure a lot of people will, and this maybe it's bulletin board content for the team, as I would assume it would be. UTRGV, first series of the season. You guys were wearing the same jerseys for that series that you're wearing for series now, but it's not the same baseball team. Would you agree with that assessment? And if so, why?
No, I completely agree. There's things that go along with time. You get more comfortable with each other. You start learning your play style. And then the coaches definitely help too. We switch up the lineup. We change positions, everything. And you just kind of build what works.
And all great teams, going back to kind of where you guys are at right now, all great teams are player-led. You have coaches, you have managers, but the great ones are led by their players and have a good sense of what's going on in the locker room within the team. We asked Coach Rodriguez about the identity of this team before the season even started. He said, we'll find out after spring break. Now, well past the spring break mark, what would you say the identity of this baseball team is right now, being in that locker room?
We're a very young team. I want to say Coach Rod told me, I don't remember the exact numbers, probably 30 to 32-ish players out of our 45-ish never played in a Big 12 baseball game. Wow. So people like myself, Hayden Keller, Jimmy Winston, Luke Boyd, Logan Freeman, the list goes on. All of us old guys were really, I don't want to say putting the team on our back, but we're trying to show the way for these young guys. Show them what it's like, show them how it feels to make it to playoffs after the season ends, go win a tournament, things of that sort.
Tyler, along with that, you've got a batting lineup that features guys like Jared McKenzie, Trey Richardson, Andy Thomas. When those guys are stepping to the plate in every game, what kind of confidence do you have in your lineup with this team that's hit so well this season?
Like I said earlier, I expect to have long innings of sitting down. No, Jared gets to the plate, and I'm pretty confident right away he's getting on base. Jack Pineda, they've been back and forth. They follow each other up or hit before one another, and I'm very confident very early in the game that I'm going to have 1 or 2 runs to support me.
And you've won your last 4, by my count, you're 7-3 on this season. How much does rhythm play a factor with the pitching position? Enlighten me and walk me through that a little bit.
I'm a very high tempo person, so up tempo.
Here we go. There we go.
Yes.
No, I like to move quick. I like to go. It's throw the ball, get the ball, throw the ball, get the ball. Don't let your mind wander. Just stay locked in. So, and then people have asked me, what do you do between innings when you're sitting in the dugout? Well, I sing Jared McKenzie's walk-up song, Andy Thomas's walk-up song, things of that sort when they get up. And it's just, I try to stay locked in, don't let my mind wander, and just roll with the game.
Wow. Big Cage the Elephant fan?
I can't say I even know what that means.
That's Jared. Okay, I was looking at Jared McKenzie's walk-up song, the Cage the Elephant song. That's Ain't No Rest for the Weary. Come on, or Wicked. Yeah, I thought I'd throw you a bone with that one. Tyler, I do want to note before this next question that going into the game, starting pitcher that Baylor faced on Friday for Tech, he had through 52 innings pitched, he had only given up 13 earned runs. In 4 innings against Baylor, he gave up 7. 7 against the Baylor offense. That is unrealistic how well Baylor's playing. Tyler, you take a seat on Saturday and Sunday knowing you can't play, and then Sunday comes around, you get the rubber match going on. What is it like for you knowing that you can't contribute on the field as Baylor was trying to compete for the series victory up at Tech?
It's definitely tough knowing every week that I'm done on Friday. Like, that's my job and I'm done. The most I can do at that point is yell as loud as I can, make sure everybody in the dugout's doing their jobs, make sure the charts are being filled out. There's still tons going on kind of behind the scenes in the dugout that are getting us victories as well.
And I was going to ask you as well going forward, what is the focus of this team? You mentioned going to Omaha. Is it Omaha or bust right now, or is it, hey, we're just worried about the next series? What is the mindset right now as y'all move forward after this huge win?
We take it a series at a time, a game at a time. We know we've always had some kind of motto each year of win this number of games and you make it to the regional. Then you go win the regional. Then you win the super, and then you go to Omaha. So the big picture goal is Omaha. However, it's one step at a time.
Yeah. Tyler, I'll tell you this. When I look across the lineup and this roster as a whole, I see old arms and young bats. I mean, honestly, I think the average age of the lineup right now from a hitting standpoint would be 19 or 20 if it wasn't for Andy Thomas being 34 and bringing that number up. But everybody, you're looking at a lot of younger guys you talked about have not played in Big 12 games. That combination of older arms that are experienced in conference games and in big games, along with young bats they got that chip on their shoulder, that play that fast, just aggressive style of baseball. Is that the perfect recipe for a World Series team this season?
It's looking like it. Like y'all said, we made a statement this weekend. We went in and dominated the number 5 team in the country. And quite frankly, when we played Texas, who's number 3 at the moment, I don't think we did bad against them either. I think, Sunday we kicked the crap out of them.
Yeah.
I think we can continue to do that. I think our old guys are very confident on the mound. We know what to do when we get in the game. And as long as the hitters can keep coming in with the chip on their shoulder, they'll be perfect.
Tyler, last question for you here from me. And this is a team, you guys, like we talked about, started 1-2 against UTRGV, 1-2 in the Round Rock Classic, and there are a lot of programs that could have laid down and just given up at that point. But I want to know, when it comes to Steve Rodriguez, the head coach of this baseball team, who a lot of people put in question at that point in time in this season, how has he played a role in helping lead this team back to where you are now on the top half of the Big 12 and looking at possibly being ranked with another series victory this weekend?
Yeah, no, he's bringing confidence into us. He's always telling you what you did good, and he informs you on what went wrong. And it's not in a bad way. It's so you can correct it. We work on it all week. And by the time you play that Friday night, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it correctly.
Well, Tyler, thanks so much for joining the show with us today. I'll tell you, like we talked about, the next time that you're on, let's hope it's after a series sweep against Kansas State, a win against Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, and this team's hosting a regional. Love to see baseball come back to Waco in the postseason, and you've been a big part of that so far this year. Best of luck coming up this Friday.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah, T.
Again, that's Tyler Thomas, T squared. T squared.
I love it.
He starting pitcher, Friday night guy for Baylor baseball. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims. When we come back, we're going to revisit the subject with you on the air. I want to get your thoughts, too. Yeah. We're going to talk a lot of spring football tomorrow. That's going to be part of the conversation quite a bit. But we're going to ride this Kim Mulkey thing out and talk about what she has done at Baylor, because she's a legend. You've got to honor the fact that she was a legend, but also there's a lot of speculation over why. Why this? Why now? What is going on with Baylor's athletic department, and does it have anything to do with why Kim Mulkey left? That after the break. I'm Drake Toll. This is J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims. Don't go anywhere. This is Up Tempo.
Gone. Kim Mulkey's career as head coach of the Baylor Lady Bears is finished after 21 seasons, 23 conference championship trophies, 4 Final Fours, and 3 national championships. The legendary coach pulls her name out of the conversation with the game's greats such as Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt, and Muffet McGraw, who led championship programs up until retirement. For the first time in 21 years, Baylor is without a women's basketball coach. Mack Rhodes is now on the search to replace Mulkey as the transfer portal heats up. The Lady Bears attempt to retain both players currently on the roster and target freshmen. It's going to be a long week. In lighter and much better news, the Baylor baseball team shocked college baseball with a series victory at number 5 Texas Tech, the first home series loss for the Red Raiders since 2018, a team that came 20-2 in Lubbock this season. The Bears were dominant with a 26-8 run differential and an emphatic 13-3 victory in Sunday's rubber match. The softball team had a similar success with a series victory at previously ranked Iowa State in Ames, winning on both Friday and Sunday to secure the series. The team has now won 3 of 4, and coach Glenn Moore is 1 win away from 800 career wins. This team can afford him that mark against number 1 Oklahoma on Tuesday. And the men's tennis team has punched its ticket to the Big 12 championship match today against number 2 Texas in Waco to clinch both the regular season and tournament championship in conference. On the women's side, Baylor fell in the Big 12 title match against powerhouse Texas. The team will now await its postseason seeding. And the green team beat the gold team 18-3, and takeaways include that Gary Bohannon might just win the Heisman unless Apu Aika beats him to it. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. He cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasoning, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. Pickell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. And no, that intro was not directed straight at Kim Mulkey. Thank you for asking. The blowing up. The call line is now open. 254-339-1122 to get some parting thoughts in here on Kim Mulkey's decision to leave Baylor University for Louisiana State University. And this is, I want to reiterate, this is Kim Mulkey's decision. She's a grown woman. She's a grown-A woman, man. This is her call.
I lost it at the grown-A woman, but she is. This is a Kim Mulkey move in the interest of Kim Mulkey, which we were talking about it before we came on. The only logical explanation as to why you would leave Baylor,
not to go home,
is for to go home and for your own self-interest. I mean, there's nothing else that LSU would offer. I don't know what she's going to make. I don't think that's been disclosed yet, has it? I can't imagine it's going to be a lot more
2.5. I bet.
You think
it hasn't been
gonna
disclosed, but I think it'll be 2.5. If it'll be more, but by a hair.
Yeah, I mean, is that really enough to leave a program you've built up? Also, she's built a huge following in Waco for women's basketball. Baylor is now a blue blood. They were top 10, I believe it was, in the country in attendance. LSU is not even in the top 50. Okay, LSU averages 2,000 people a game before COVID. Baylor averaged like 7,000. So if you want to say there's a basis for people having interest in women's college basketball in LSU, you're wrong. There's no interest in women's basketball at LSU. Maybe Kim Mulkey brings it up 2,000 more. So, okay, you have 4,000 people at your games. But if you want to be the biggest show in town, LSU is the exact wrong place to go to do that. Right?
I would say you're not. If your feet, that's the thing. And I asked that to Matt Anderson. If this is an ego move for Kim Mulkey, is she in trouble? And the answer is yes. If this is to feed an ego, then that is going to end up very poorly. It's going to end up very poorly for Kim Mulkey because at the end of this road, she's not going to be the biggest show in town ever. Football at LSU is king. Football's king. So you can't go there and be, this is my university now. There's no way. It'll never happen. Baylor, this was her university.
Maybe for men's basketball for a little bit.
Why now?
I don't know.
Why?
I have no idea.
Is it a coincidence that after the men's basketball national championship that this happened?
Doesn't feel like it.
Is it a coincidence? And I don't know if that question might be rhetorical.
Doesn't feel like it. If the issue was she wants to have the court named after her, put this in perspective. John Wooden, right? Greatest coach, arguably, of all time any sport. Right. 1948, 1975, wins 11 national titles. He didn't get a court named after him until 2003.
That's how it goes.
So until after he had passed, I think he was still alive, but that was years after he had ever stopped coaching. Kim Mulkey has won 3 national titles and wants a court named after her while she's still coaching. Feels like a big ask.
Did she ask that though?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I don't know if that's true or not. The naming rights, I don't actually know that.
She's come out and said it's not true. Is what she said.
That's what she says.
But the narrative suggests otherwise. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
When I heard that, because I was thinking,
there's SicEm365 Radio.
Smoke, there's fire.
When there's smoke, there's SicEm365.
Well, there's smoke, there's Paul Catalina, and also Craig Smoak. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. When I heard that, my first thought was, because I'm a North Carolina guy, of Dean Smith. When Dean Smith was the coach at North Carolina, they were building a new stadium, and they named it the Dean Smith Center. And he refused. He said, no, do not name this after me. You're not going to name a stadium after me while I'm still a coach here. They did it anyways, and he never called it by that name. Roy Williams, while he was the coach at North Carolina, they said, we're going to name the court after you. We're going to name this Roy Williams Court. And he said, no, do not do that. I will never call it Roy Williams Court. Don't do this. I don't deserve to have a court named after me. The humbleness of those two coaches. And whether this is true or not, contrast that with the ego of Kim Mulkey.
Yeah.
And that's just what came to my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether that story's true or not, but the fact that you think, yeah, that could be true, is not a good sign.
Yeah.
And I does not speak highly of her.
Completely. I want to add to that as well. The old adage, hey, your feet are talking so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. She's making $2.3 million. They're a game away from playing for the Final Four, and she's not here. And she is not here because the men's team just won a national championship. I know she said, hey, I didn't come out and ask for the core. I love that play. She's publicly said that. But you're not here, and we're all kind of scratching our heads as to why, because you don't go home for another $500,000, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't think this is going home. I don't think that going home is the A1 reason that she's making this move. I really, really don't. And I think if you do believe that she's solely just doing this to go home, I would love to hear from you. 254-339-1122. We got Joe Frazier on the caller line right here. Joe, what's going on, my man? It's been a crazy, crazy weekend in Baylor sports, and I will tell you I am wholly disappointed that some of the big, big notes of this spring are being overshadowed by this move.
Actually, I can agree with you on that. First off, though, JD, I'm a little disappointed in you because you didn't show up to the after party.
I know.
After the green and gold game. So there you go. There's that. However, regarding Kim Mulkey, man, I mean, it's one of those things. She had a great run here. Good riddance to you. Have fun wherever you think you want to go. Her personality is what made her who she was. So if she's really leaving on a term like this, even though it is speculation, if the shoe fits, wear it, right? So hey, that's on her. She's got to live with that. She's got to deal with that. And because I have all the respect and all of the utmost, I guess, hope that we'll find another coach that'll just fit right in. Because I mean, Mack Rhoades' track record for finding coaches is on a pretty high across the nation. Yeah. So that's the least of my worries there. In regards to Baylor baseball, though, that's a huge feat. I mean, it was like a David versus Goliath situation, and as we know, in that situation, how it all shook out, it's the same thing, same scenario, same end result. So hey, my hat goes off to Coach Steve and those boys. Played their butts off. I mean, the bats were hot. They were scoring runs. Pitching was dialed in where it needed to be. You can't go wrong. I mean, and then across the board with the national title with the Lady Acrobats. I mean, it's almost sad to say it in this way because we almost expect them to do that now. I mean, because they've done it so many times. But hey, the other thing is, I'll throw a little shade at Kim Mulkey because you don't see the other Mulkey running away because she's won 6 national titles and it gets overshadowed every year that she wins one. So, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. You just kind of got to, it's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Do I agree with it? No, I think every national title should be celebrated to the same extent. I get it. Money's an issue. So, hey, there, you have that. But, I mean, what else can you say, though? I mean, it is what it is at this point. If Kim Mulkey's actually on her way out, hey, good riddance. Best of luck to you at LSU. I hope you don't fall on your face because I think it was kind of a dumb move for her if she's making it solely on the greed and solely on trying to be the top dog. Because, I mean, hey, I get it. That's who she is. That's what's made her who she is today. And people like those antics, but she's got to live with it. That's on her, fellas.
Wow. Joe, that's a lot to unpack. Thanks for your call.
Yes, sir. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
See you, Joe.
Very pointed. Very pointed. So that's the thing that I've learned today. There's a rift in Baylor fandom right now where one half of people believe this is an ego move, that Kim Mulkey's just feeding herself through this and trying to do something that just, hey, she feels underappreciated, which I would get in some respects, but that she's making this move as a part of a power trip.
Yeah.
There's a line of people that think that. There's another line of people that say she's a legend. Baylor didn't appreciate her enough. They should have bent over backwards to have Kim Mulkey stay, and she's leaving because of the ineptitude of the Baylor administration. There are two sides.
Yeah.
I don't think that Mack Rhoades did anything wrong here.
No.
And I think that is that may be a hot take for a lot of people, and they will disagree with that because of how this has looked in different times and how her relationship with Kim Mulkey has been, how Mack Rhoades and Kim Mulkey's relationship has been portrayed. However, an athletic director, if, say, this is an ego thing, which, again, I'm not saying it is, but if it is, I cannot and do not want an athletic director that bends over backwards past where they need to.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to bend to Kim Mulkey's demands for a sport that loses a lot of money, granted, she's won a lot of national titles. I mean, she's been at Baylor for a long time. But to a certain extent, I mean, you don't deal with people that are in a position where they're kind of, I'm trying not to use the phrase inmates running the prison, but that's kind of what it feels like. You don't just meet the demands of, whoever is bending you over. That's not how any good organization works. So anyone that has problems with Mack Rhoades, I would say, look across the board. Has he hired anybody or has he made any other move that feels outside of, good standing, a logical move? Has he done anything that would, this is the first time we'd be like, hey, Mack Rhoades, why'd you do that? If he did say, hey, I'm not going to take care of Kim Mulkey, I don't have anything good to say about her. I mean, if that was where Mack Rhoades was coming from, that'd be the first time in history we've ever had something with Mack Rhoades. This is not the first time that there's been noise about Kim Mulkey doing what's best for Kim Mulkey, and good for her. I mean, I'm very much in the camp that you should do what's best for you, especially when it is a business. It is college sports. But this would not be the first time we've had an issue with a coach's ego. And again, not saying it is, but where there's smoke, there's fire.
You mentioned this is the best thing for Kim Mulkey to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's true?
I don't think so. I think she thinks it is. And I get that she thinks she has. I mean, maybe she has more chips than we think she does. Maybe she really is going to make more money at LSU. Maybe she does have a bunch of transfers lined up. I mean, maybe she really is thinking that this is going to be a better move for her. Everybody on the outside looking in, which, to be fair, that's what we are. We're not in Kim Mulkey's shoes. This doesn't make any sense. You're going to a fan base that doesn't care about women's college basketball. They're not going to care about women's college basketball. You're probably not going to make a whole lot more money. You don't have the same visibility. I mean, all of these things just don't add up to me. I mean, I guess you're close to your family, but everything else doesn't make sense to me why you would leave Baylor. You have such a great thing going here. You will get a statue. I bet you would get the court if you stick around and win 2 more national titles. Like, there is much more to win at Baylor. There's much more you can attain. You can achieve legendary status if you win 2 or 3 more with Baylor, and that's very much attainable given what she had a year ago and what she is able to do with the recruiting, with the portal. Like, she has a chance to be really, really legendary at Baylor, even more than she already is. And now it feels like she's just sort of throwing that away to go to a place like LSU because of her ego, is what it feels like. Again, I don't want to speak out of turn, but that's really what it feels like, and that's what this situation is pointing to, because it doesn't make sense.
She's one of the top 5 to ever do it in her sport.
100%.
She's one of the top 5 to ever do it in her sport. And I do believe that and that's been a big conversation today, if that is the case, if this is a case, if this is an ego move, if, it's an if, I'm not saying it is. Mm-hmm. If it is, I think she could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you're right. LSU, I will disagree, and I'd say they will value women's college basketball. To the extent of Baylor, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think that that Kim Mulkey making this move, if it's an ego move, is not going to work out very well, because LSU is a football school. It's going to be like that. It's going to be a men's basketball school with what Will Wade has been able to do there. It's going to be a baseball school, Paul Manerian, Alex Box. Women's basketball will never crack the top 3 or 4 sports. Gymnastics is above women's basketball right now. When it comes to athletics at LSU, she won't get, I don't believe, at LSU what she has gotten at Baylor with the focus, the fan base, and the attention that the Baylor Nation has given women's basketball. We have Jason calling on the phone line. Jason, talk to us, man. Talking about Kim Mulkey.
Hey, first, guys, I got to say, what a privilege to meet the 2 rock stars of this show Saturday at the football game.
Hey, thanks, Jason.
Pleasure getting to talk to you, Jason.
Like we're like, you guys need security or something at this point. So, I mean, there's so much hype around you guys. But anyway, great show today. Just wanted to weigh in and agree with you, Drake. Like, absolutely disappointing that with everything that was fantastic going on this weekend in Baylor sports, we're talking about this. It's really unfortunate. I think, to steal Craig's word from the afternoon show, it is obviously polarizing our fan base. And, as a fan, I again, everything I'm about to say is just speculation, just like everybody else, because we don't know. And as an alumni, it's just it feels like so much good is starting to happen. Like, we've come out of a dark period, even through the COVID and everything. And just to feel like the positivity, to see Coach Drew calling a play on the sideline on Saturday, there was just a great feeling amongst fans on Saturday. Like, so many great things and all the other programs that we have going on. And my point today is about Mack Rhoades, and I've seen a lot of things posted today on the site. Saying he should be fired immediately, firing the president. We don't know. And again, I don't know. But, I mean, I'd just like to say, put yourself, you want to be an AD, and that comes with a job.
Right.
You want to be an AD, like, put yourself in his shoes for a second. Let's go back. He did bring us in a really tough time in the football program. Brings us Matt Rule, who brought us to the cliff of the college football playoff.
Yes.
Closer almost than Art Briles took us. In a point where we thought the football program may never come back for 20 years. And so kudos for that. And then, Matt Rule obviously leaves for the NFL, puts him in a position. And then you bring in Aranda, a great hire, in my opinion. I think he's going to prove to be. Time will tell, my opinion. But, and then COVID happens. And you think about all the things that go on behind the scenes that we don't even know about. And then we get all the way to this point, and we don't know any of this kind of stuff. And to finally break through this year, to kind of pull out on the backside of the COVID, hopefully, and to win the national championship, to have a day like Saturday, and then something like this happens. I mean, that's a tough job, man. I mean, sign me we all say we want to sign up for it, but I fully have confidence in our athletic director to make the right decision.
Yep.
And let's bring somebody in here who wants to do it. And lastly, I'll leave you with this: is I fully expect and believe that they called every single parent. If you're a parent of one of these players, I mean, are you just going to want to jump ship? I was going to just follow her on a whim. Maybe yes, maybe no. I mean, because this is a great university. You got your kid in a great program, and I hope that they were making phone calls to the parents as well. So that's all I got for today, guys, and look forward to hearing more of the commentary, and y'all have a great one.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks so much. Pleasure to meet you on Saturday at the Green and Gold game. I wish, God, I've said it so many times today, I wholly wish we could talk about the Green and Gold game.
Yeah.
I wish we could talk about the things that are going on right now that need attention in Baylor sports, because for those that love Baylor or follow Baylor, a lot's going on right now that is awesome, and it's being overshadowed by a move that I cannot tell you the underlying reasoning for this move.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why, period, point blank, why this move is being made. It's not for money.
Right.
I don't think it's for location either. And one can only infer past that why this happened.
And Jason brought up a really great point. I really think Kim Mulkey probably has to have a conversation with all of her recruits. And they're going to ask her this question: why are you leaving Baylor? And she's going to have to tell them something negative about the administration or about the program or about the university that they're going to have to sit with and say, okay, do I believe Kim Mulkey or do I believe everything that I've seen about Baylor University? And so they're going to be put in a position to where they have to decide who they believe. And I don't think that's fair to those kids. I don't think that's right. And I also don't understand why, I don't understand why Kim Mulkey's doing this. And so the fact that she's not going to have a really solidified answer to, they wouldn't pay me enough, or, the administration didn't appreciate me. Like, there are things you can point to discount whatever other reason you want to have to why Kim Mulkey left. And so the fact that she now has to sit with these high schoolers and say, okay, I'm leaving because of Baylor did me wrong, is what we're assuming. Again, this is all speculation. I'm assuming that will be the conversation. And I'm hoping that people are able to deduce for themselves what's actually true and what's not. And I hope the truth is eventually very apparent to everybody.
I don't know if it ever will be, but one can only hope that comes in the following days, because I'll tell you what, it's been certainly a roller coaster, 24 hours, roller coaster 72 hours even, with the Kim Mulkey news dropping. I got another caller on the line here. It messed up the caller ID, so tell us who you are and where you're from.
Peggy from Waco.
Hey, Miss Peggy, how are you doing today on a beautiful Monday outdoors?
It is beautiful outdoors, isn't it?
It is. It's about the only highlight that we're getting today, really, out of most of the show.
Yeah.
I understand where y'all are coming from, but Baylor women's basketball program is very important to people in Waco.
Yes.
And if you don't know Kim Mulkey, don't speculate.
Right.
Because she's always said in the public, it's never been about the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's been about the respect. And somewhere down the line, my opinion, the respect has gone away for her. And, she loves Baylor, and she'll have it in her heart for the rest of her life. And people need to respect her and not downplay her. We don't know the whole truth, and let's don't dwell on what ifs and what is.
Right.
Just be grateful and thankful that she has done what she's done to the Baylor women's program, because that's hard to do. And let's just praise that she's made the right decision for herself and her family, and that we respect that for her, because she is a wonderful person, because I know her.
Miss Peggy.
And thank you for... Yes, sir.
Well, I got a question for you, and I'm glad that you called us with this perspective. We're getting a lot of different perspectives today, and I'm glad that we're getting all of that as well. Coach Mulkey is a legend here. I have said, and I said it on Friday, Kim Mulkey built the athletic department at Baylor University She's the first one to put Baylor on the map like she did on a national scale when she came to Waco and won that championship in 2005. You mentioned a kind of a loss for respect. Somewhere along the line that respect was tainted or altered. Do you think that was necessarily from Baylor's standpoint or from the fan base? Are the fans still on board with Kim Mulkey? And kind of a part of that, do the fans love Kim Mulkey or do the fans love Baylor women's basketball?
I think both. I think they love Kim Mulkey and the basketball program that she has built. She came and she was a highlight when the men's basketball program had that death, that killing.
Yeah.
And she shined a light on Baylor, and people didn't talk about Baylor in a negative sense because she kind of brought it out of its own dirty dealings. And I hate to bring that up, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody's got their opinion, and they're I don't blame anybody for their opinion, but let's don't put her under the bus.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she's a legend.
She's absolutely a legend. I think everyone in Waco would agree that she has done so much for Baylor. Miss Peggy, I wanted to ask you this question. You mentioned that loss of respect. What do you think that is? Because I think there's been a lot of speculation on our end and from the media as a whole as to what that was, whether it was the court or the lack of excitement in regards to when they won the title versus when the men did this year. Do you have any insight there as to what that disrespect specifically would be?
No, that's just my opinion. The court naming, she never asked for that. Some of the fans, I think, got things going about that, and
right.
She never said anything publicly that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, Miss Peggy, I got a last question for you. I know you said you've been around Kim personally, right? I'm correct in saying that?
Yes.
Have you been able to have any conversations with her since I know she's very, very busy, getting a ton of phone calls, but have you maybe heard anything from her yet, or are there any any last thoughts that you want to give to us or her?
I just wish her well and success, and don't forget, there are people that still love her out here in Baylor Nation.
Well, Miss Peggy, thank you so much. We love all calls from all sides of the spectrum. I know there are a lot of callers that have called in very frustrated today, but I really do appreciate that you brought this perspective about Coach Mulkey and what she did for this university.
Okay, I appreciate it very much. You have a blessed day.
You too, Miss Peggy. Thank you very much. I'm glad that we got that perspective too, because on there's the other side that believes there's a respect that is gone for Kim Mulkey. You have a split between those that feel like this is an ego move and those that believe that the administration did not do what they should have to respect and keep Kim Mulkey in Waco.
We love Kim Mulkey too. I'm just really hung up on what would that disrespect be? And is it really comparing what they did for your national title versus what we did for the men this year? Is it about the court? Because we keep hearing no, but she's not here. And she's at a school that doesn't care about women's college basketball nearly as much as people do at Baylor. And they care about it because she built this program. They care about Baylor basketball because of what Kim Mulkey did. So I'm a little bit at a loss as to what that disrespect would be. And if she thinks there's going to be more respect to LSU, because I'm thinking, okay, you're a blue blood here in Waco. Are you going to be taken seriously at LSU where football is the end-all, be-all, and then after that, women's college basketball isn't even in the top 50 in attendance? I'm just struggling to see what the respect is going to be at LSU that's better than Waco.
I am too. And I also do believe that it's a question I posed earlier, and I don't know if we'll ever get closure on this. I think a lot of people are asking, if the men's team loses in the Sweet 16, if the men's team does not win a national championship this season, if the men's team does not have the success, the massive parade, the turnout of people, if that does not happen this year, is this different? Is the timing a coincidence, or is this something that is in the works as a result, maybe not direct, but as a result for what has happened in the course of Baylor athletics and where the spotlight has been turned?
It really feels like that's been the catalyst, right?
It feels like I can't say yes, and it's speculatory. And again, it's one of those questions that might just be rhetorical with this.
And people we trust, Jason King tweeted out, it's a shame, I forget exactly, I'm paraphrasing, but his tweet said something along the lines of, it's a shame when pettiness and ego gets in the way of something great. Again, that's not exactly what he tweeted, but that was essentially the sentiment of what he said. And someone like Jason King, he's close to Baylor hoops. He's close to the men's and the women's programs and understands. I mean, if he tweets it, it's got some validity to it. So that was kind of the big thing for me of like, okay, If Jason King's talking about this being a pettiness and an ego thing, I'm probably going to side with him because I think, where there's smoke, there's fire. Don't tell me that you're not taking into account, what this administration is or isn't doing for you when you've already got onto a plane and you're in Louisiana. I struggle with watching the videos of Kim Mulkey leaving and getting on a plane and the speculation that we've made, and I do want to go back to the fact, and I'm glad Miss Peggy called, that Kim built the women's basketball program. Completely.
She built the women's basketball program. And while Kim Mulkey helped build the athletic program, obviously one person isn't the athletic program, and that has been a factor as well. But I do want to say that there is not the success of women's basketball because she built that herself, and there's not that success without Kim Mulkey. So my hat goes off. My hat goes off to Kim Mulkey and what she did at Baylor University. It is disappointing for fans, but she's an adult.
Yep.
I'm not upset with Kim Mulkey. I'm not upset with the Baylor administration. This is a business decision that Kim Mulkey has made, and that is something that we're living with.
Yeah.
You got to live with it. I have no love lost for any of these parties involved. I do want to make a point, though. Kim Mulkey is a grown woman.
Yep.
She made this decision on her own. No one in the Baylor administration kicked her out. This was not a go. They didn't say go. They wanted her to stay, and she said, I'm leaving. So I don't think, in this point, you can run Mack Rhoades or the Baylor administration through the mud.
No, you definitely shouldn't. And do you want an athletic director that's going to bend to any and all coach, all their demands? I mean, do you want an athletic director who's just going to, bend at the first sign of disgruntlement? Because that's what it seems like is, at the end of the day, Kim Mulkey was upset in some form or fashion with Baylor and has found what she believes to be a better situation in Louisiana. So I'm so glad you said that because this is not by any means a Mack Rhoades decision. This is not a Linda Livingstone decision. This is a Kim Mulkey decision to go to what she believes is greener pastures. Everybody on the outside looking in believes it's not greener pastures, so that's where there's disappointment. That's where there's the frustration. But, I mean, completely a Kim Mulkey decision, and I think that's why there's so much frustration is because there's no real reason we can point to with absolute certainty and say this is why you left. This makes sense why you left.
We got Cam on the caller line here. Cam, we got to move kind of quick here, though. What do you got for us today?
I had one question. Who do y'all think is going to replace Kim Mulkey?
That's a great question. Okay. I have no clue, Cam.
We've had Cam. What's that? Can you one more time for us? Sorry, Cam.
I heard about the Georgia coach could come to Baylor, or.
Yeah, we've heard a lot. Georgia, Coach Joni over at Georgia. We've heard Arizona head coach. We've heard Coach Brock or Coach Messer. Coach Brock's getting up. He's a little bit older. I think Coach Messer would be a great hire. She's an assistant at Baylor right now. Coach Brock's an assistant as well. I think they're both gone with Coach Mulkey. But on that, Cam, I really can't tell you a definitive who it's going to be next or where Mack Rhoades' short list is. But I'm sure there's one thing I've known from being around Mack Rhoades in our few years here in Waco. It's that no one is going to know until the day of. And that's a fact. Anything else, Cam?
Nope, that's all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Sweet.
Cam.
Thanks, Cam. What do you got on that? You got any short list? You got a short list built?
I have no idea. I mean, I said it on Friday. I don't pretend to be super knowledgeable about women's college basketball, and that's a fault of my own. It's a fault of a lot of sports fans these days, but I have absolute certainty that Mack Rhoades will make the right hire. My faith is in Mack Rhoades, and that's good enough for me.
I too am I want Mack Rhoades leading this ship. And I know that is not maybe the most popular opinion that a lot of folks have, and I don't want to just sit here and be a homer and just, how do I say this with being politically correct? I don't want to...
I want to jump the gun.
No, I don't want to be too Baylor. I don't want to favor Baylor too much. I don't want to favor the administration too much. I want to be objective in my assessment, but I objectively do think that Mack Rhoades, we are in good hands. Baylor's in good hands with Mack Rhoades, and that they will be just fine with whoever they hire next. I mean, there are folks that say that Mack Rhoades has destroyed this program, and I don't believe so.
Say how?
Mack Rhoades brought Dave Aranda from a national championship in. He brought Matt Rule in, who's an NFL head coach now. I have full confidence in Mack Rhoades in this decision, and that is not me just trying to be a Baylor homer.
I mean, he hasn't made one bad hire. I mean, you look at him as an AD, he hasn't made one bad move that you can link directly to Mack Rhoades and say, wow, you messed this up. Wow, Mack Rhoades, this was on you. His track record is virtually perfect when it comes to hiring.
I love it. All right, we're going to do what we do. On Fridays, let's have a little fun with some Music Monday. Music Monday today.
Do what it do.
It's all songs about Louisiana, right, Armstrong?
No way.
No, not today.
I was like, really?
No, it's
Louisiana
not.
Saturday night.
I tried to get some people to call in.
Call in Baton Rouge.
To play, but they won't.
Oh, okay.
So they get to watch us play.
They're lost.
Baylor Bigfoot
They
wouldn't
could have
play?
won. They could have won
Bigfoot
things.
played. They could have won things. We could have given things out. All right, you got your notes ready?
I got my notes. I'm rocked.
All right,
All right, y'all ready for
Music
this?
Monday. This is the weirdest Music Monday we've done so far. Let's see what we got.
Will I get 1.5?
Yeah, you should get a couple.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should get some. Music Monday on
Here we
Up
go.
Tempo, as we do every Monday. Here we go.
Combination of words I could put on the back of a postcard. No song that I could
Just to watch him die. But I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me.
just get yourself free. Hop on the bus, Gus.
Shining bright.
Just close your eyes.
Uh-oh.
You got what do you got?
This is bad good.
You got
This is-
10?
I don't know about 10.
Bad good?
But
I got 4.
You got 4
I'm
points.
locked in at 4, baby.
4 points.
4 points.
Oh, okay.
2 artists and 2 songs.
2 artists and 2 songs.
Bro.
Okay.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
One more, if you
That's
will.
not bad for me
I-
just
I-
scrolling through
I-
my liked songs. And
One more
just-
play, if you
I
will.
question my attendance in this game. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I question what I bring to the table here.
I think you bring good.
Combination of words I could put on the back of a postcard. No song that I could
Just to watch him die. But I'm gonna be where the lights are
Shining on me. That's good.
just
Get it?
yourself free. Hop on the bus, Gus.
shining bright.
Just close.
This isn't your like songs?
your eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah, heck yeah, it is.
I'm going to be where the lights are shining bright on me.
bro.
Did you put that in there as like a
No,
subliminal?
Not at all. I
I'm
was
going to
just
be where the
randomly
lights shine
scrolling
bright on
through.
me. Do you get it? Okay.
My liked songs are just so all over the map.
100%. We got to go quick. I forgot somebody's birthdays in this day in sports history.
I got
matter.
Better Together, Jack Johnson, and then the last one's Ed Sheeran, Barcelona. Those are my
That's-
contributions.
that's
I have
correct.
no idea if the
I've
others-
got Jack Johnson. Paching.
Yes.
Folsom Prison Blues, Johnny Cash. Rhinestone Cowboy, Glenn Campbell.
Yes.
50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, Paul Simon.
Yes.
And Barcelona, Ed Sheeran.
Yes.
That's magical.
There we go.
So you got 9 points.
out of 10.
What was the first one?
The first one was
Jack Johnson. Better
Jack
Together?
Johnson, Better Together.
Wow.
Holla.
That's immaculate.
There we go.
I cannot believe the fact that we just, you nailed a few of those. That was
We
good.
got to, we're hitting, I think we're covering.
I'm proud and impressed of what you would. Oh, you know what that means. Gosh dang it.
Pretty music.
Later, guys.
All right, I'm Drake Toll. It's J.D. Pickell. That was Music Monday. We skipped celebrity birthdays in this May in sports history, so we'll do it all again tomorrow. Come back at 11 a.m., the Blonde Boys Power Hour. Hopefully, Karen Aston joins the show tomorrow to talk about Kim Mulkey. Maybe a little bit of Sherry Cole action. I'm Drake Toll. That's J.D. Pickell. That's Armstrong Sims. I promise we're all staying in Waco, but I can't promise about the coaching staff or the women's basketball players. That remains to be determined. Come back and see us at 11 o'clock tomorrow. We talk about who's coming back and who's coming up next. This has been Up Tempo.
Later, Kim.